How's it going, everybody? We're here with Ethereal on Friday night, as usual. Hanging out, having a good time, talking some stuff. We've got a campaign going live in about half an hour. We're just waiting for good buddy April to get here before we throw that down. Um, lots of fun stuff. We're not going to do a really long show tonight because I've got oh my gosh, I got a freight delivery I have to go through and pull books from and get all that stuff situated. So, if we have any reasons to believe that Mr. Hunter's phone goes black and no one sees it, let us know, please.
That's in the private chat. That was for you guys.
I know that.
Don't tell everyone.
I tell everyone everything.
Yeah.
All the things.
Yes.
I am not good at keeping secrets from fan bases or anyone. I'm not good at that. It doesn't work for me. Too honest for that game. Look at that beautiful fucking splash page you got there.
There's a 2-pager spread.
Oh, man. I love it, man. I love it so much. It is going to be great. And that's from KillCam.
Is it?
Yeah, KillCam. That goes live tonight. I'm so excited. We're gonna, you know what? Hey, Shawnee, you want to come hang out so you can help me with the side doohickey where I can't see who's talking and whatnot? Anyway, so we've got KillCam live tonight, which is very, very exciting. And not only do we have KillCam going live tonight, but we've also got Underland issue 2.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Oh, yeah.
I love the concept of doing these 2 books, in one campaign for you guys. It makes it easier for you to keep up. And it also makes it, doubly exciting almost, like every time we put out a book, I get hyped. I know we put out books every month, but I still get hyped every book we put out, right? Like right now, I'm mad excited because the Fallen Leaves freight came in today. We're going to be shooting those out in the next 2 weeks. We're putting out BGD 3 right now. So much cool stuff going out. So much cool stuff. Which means If It Hops is right around the corner to go out. I mean, oh my goodness. All kinds of really amazing products coming out. Now, Bladen, you want to give us a rundown on what KillCam is?
Gosh, it's hard to explain. I mean, it's like we got these ladies, and they are heroines, and a little bit of different variation on the character types here. But we have Daphne, Iria, and Ren, who are pretty much bounty hunters going around throughout space, mucking with other alien types and just collecting bounties and having a good time.
We talked about having a good time when I was putting this all together, deciding what app they would use. The title has a lot to do with it, just like every other Ethereal book. All our titles are really tied to the story, and KillCam is no different. So the girls will be in space, they'll be chasing bounties and all kinds of fun stuff. But when they'll
be live streaming.
They'll be live streaming. Absolutely. They'll be live streaming bounties. They'll also be taking selfies when they get those bounties. And when they do that, though, they'll be using their Spacey Fans accounts.
Hi, Shawnee.
To show you guys their images.
Hey, Shawnee.
And I loved the concept of Spacey Fans. I thought that was too much fun. Like, I was just like, how do we tie in something funny with what we're doing? So Spacey Fans will be the app they're using to show all their, bounties they're catching and all the heads they're taking, and the occasional, paid for selfie groups they put out. Funny enough, when something different with this particular title, we'll be going in and every now and then, if there's an issue where one of the girls takes extra photos, we'll be putting those in the back of the book.
Mm.
So you'll be getting like pinups in the back of the book from shower scenes, etc., space scenes, swimming scenes. When they've
I noticed
been,
you started with shower scenes, so
you know,
Gotta go there.
I
Gotta
have
go
to.
there, exactly.
It's you know, I joke about it, but it's, you know, as fun as it is, it's still an ethereal book, and it's still got
Could have gone
places.
with the MySpace anecdote, but just do like a space.
Yeah, I could have, but
Glad
Spacey
you
fans sounded funnier to me.
Yes, I agree. I like it.
I don't know.
Just
Space Ghost. Who remembers Space Ghost?
old Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
Yeah, I don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah.
too late.
Oh,
Yeah.
dang.
Definitely don't want to run that one. He'll come after me personally.
Oh yeah.
So, but we've also got Underland going live tonight. And that issue, the first issue of that's going to be mailed out to everybody here in the next couple months. We're excited about that. So, you'll be getting both these pretty close together. But I love the concept of what we've done with Underland. I love the pages that we've got. We're going to show you guys here in a bit. I mean, the cover work again is stunning
Amazing.
on this book.
Mhm.
I mean, it's just so much fun. I can't even. I mean, all joking aside, I can't even like. I don't know. I can't get over it. It's just. I mean, the
Use
more
your words, Dustin. Use your words.
You can't. He doesn't have any.
April Reyna.
Sun Rider, huh?
Oh, dun, dun,
There's
dun.
April.
That's right. The writer that doesn't know words. I don't know the words. It's an amazing thing because when you look at things and the evolution of the brand, you know, Bladen and April and I talk about it a lot that every book we do better than the book before. We feel like everyone grows. That's from the artists to the management team. Everybody grows with every product we put out. And
our
I couldn't be
obnoxiousness.
happier. Do
Well,
what now?
that too. Yeah.
We grow in our obnoxiousness.
Oh yeah. Well, I try to maximize my power with that frequently. You know what I mean? That's something. But I'll say something because I heard about it the other recently. And it was something that I've asked people not to do to me for years since we put out our first book.
Oh,
And I'm very, very serious about it because it's an insult and people don't even realize it's an insult.
oh gosh.
What they're doing is they'll go in and they'll be like, hey, in a message we've never spoke before, and be like, back my campaign. Get the fuck out. Like, I don't even like, you don't even take me out to dinner first. You know what I mean? Like,
Who is this? Who are you?
right. I just, it blows my mind. They add me on Facebook and then they're like, back my campaign. And I'm like, who the fuck is this?
Yeah.
You know, and it's funny because, you know, if they're doing it to me, they're doing it to everybody else. You know what I mean?
That's
And it's such a disrespectful
how they're campaigning
thing.
and spreading the word.
Man, look, I you know, it was funny. A buddy of ours mentioned the other day that I don't really campaign real hard. And because of the fact that I don't feel like we need to be obnoxious. I've never felt like we needed to be obnoxious. I've never wanted to have to be in your face to sell the product. I want you to look for the product. I want you to enjoy the product, not me having to be like, hey, did you see that shit? That's my shit. It's fucking great. I don't like that. It's fucking annoying. I think it's asinine. And if I've hurt somebody's feelings by being truthful, real sorry, but here's a tip. I do pretty good at this game. Don't reach out to people and fucking bug the shit out of them. It's not cool.
So Dustin, you're not over there going, look, a comic
No,
book.
dude.
Ooh.
On my page,
Sure.
my group, and ad pages. That's it. You know, you don't catch me going, you know, just reaching out to people and going, hey, back my product. That's just, it's rude. You know what I mean? I don't feel a necessity to do that. I love our fans, and I love that our fans reach out to follow us and pay attention to what we're doing versus me having to hunt people down. That's fucking, who wants to do that?
That's weird.
That's my job. I'm the hunter.
Yeah.
I
You're not allowed out of the basement. You have to stay in the basement, sir. You're not allowed out. You have to
I'll
stay
build
down
you a
there.
basement.
And if I see you come to the top of the stairs, I'm gonna have April tase you.
Bring me snacks. Bring me snacks.
Blow a circuit.
He puts a lotion on the skin.
No snacks for you until you get 20 pages done this week.
I'll settle for 5. It'll be fine.
He's getting snacks either way because
Yeah.
Yeah.
he's a beast when it comes to
he
the
got
pages.
a bucket last week, so he's getting better. You know what I mean?
I'll buy you the good quality paper.
That's what they say.
Hey, look, I sprung for a metal bucket. He didn't even get like a plastic one. So,
That's because
no,
the dog
but-
kept chewing on it.
good lord.
I was chewing on it.
Oh,
Make
Oh
more
my
noise
God.
with a metal bucket. Clang, clang, clang.
Right. Bring me a
That's how
snack.
the neighbors will find out.
Is this page correct? Just let me know. No, but we're with these 2 books coming out, we had a great campaign. Thank you again for the last campaign with Theater 7 and Greed. It was an amazing campaign. And now we're moving into this one, and I think that we all have agreed that we like the 2 book campaigns. I mean, the fans seem to enjoy them. It's easier for people to keep up with. And I honestly don't think it's as hard on people. And I've never wanted to be one to beat folks up. You know what I mean? So I
Justin doesn't
just,
want to be a hard on.
I'm not. I don't mind having
I
one.
hear
I
he's
just
a
don't want to
college
be one.
student now.
I got weird.
You know, there's
I don't know
no
what
issue. My stuff works. I just don't want to be one. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
It's not there's no
That's a
issue.
visual we don't need.
Yeah, we weren't questioning that, but all right.
Oh, I thought you were fishing. Sorry,
Yeah.
my fault. My fault. But no. So we've got these amazing products coming out right now. We talked about Kill Cam for a second. So Underland, if you guys haven't seen Underland, I'm a big fan of America McGee. I'm a big fan of old school stories and stuff. But the crazy stuff is most people have done them, right? They've come out, they've made their versions of it. How could you ever be different? When you've got your original Alice in Wonderland, you've got Through the Looking Glass, you've got Zenoscope that's done it, BDI that's done it. Everybody has touched on this story, but they're all very much alike.
Dude, I thought the BDI one was the Xenoscope one, but now that you mention it, yeah, that is different. I didn't even know.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are very much alike, and which
Justin
is
comes
cool,
along
'cause-
and says, "Hold my beer."
right. It's very cool though, because I mean, if it's not broke, why fix it? You know what I mean? So, and I get that, but when it came to us, I mean, you can ask any of our fans or anybody that knows me or any of our team members. I'm different. Like, I'm a weird motherfucker. So, I really wanted to make sure that we did something that you'd never seen before. And Lieris is so talented. Lieris was like, when I told her I wanted to work on, my take on like an Alice in Wonderland, she was all about it, and it's just been a beautiful experience putting these products together. And I can't get over it. I'm missing this. I'm sorry. I don't know who that is, Shawnee, but I'm sorry. Hey, what's going on, Dan? Dan is incredible. Dan is on our team now. Great guy, an amazing colorist. Like, holy shitballs.
Yep. It's our friend Claire that you can't see.
Oh, hey, Claire. How's it going?
Yep.
Claire
And,
and Dave.
Yeah, and she's
And
just bummed
then-
because apparently she's traveling. She's not home. So,
All right.
you want a reminder,
for
I think this
sure.
is going to be an extra long show, you said? Because
Oh, this
we're
is not
launching?
going to be too long. Yeah,
Okay,
this
that's
one's
It's going to
gonna
be an
be
extra short show.
Extra short show.
short show
Oh, because of the
tonight.
launch. Yeah. So,
And because we're gonna do the launch tonight here in about 15 minutes, and then I've got what's going on, Jay? And then I've got my like I said, today we got a freight order. It's our first freight order ever. So like the full giant 18-wheeler dropping books off. Like I felt like I felt like Dan or Ryan today. Like it showed up in front of my shit, and I was like, oh my God.
Did they
You know
just
what I mean?
kick it off the side?
Oh my gosh.
Well-
We're not going there. We're not. But thank you. Yeah, no. Thank you so much. But it was, it was such a cool experience to see that big ass truck roll up and just be like, oh my God. You know what I mean? There's a shit ton of books in there for people. You know what I mean? So I went and, we started putting them together. We're starting to go through the books. We're going to pull the orders and stuff. So we'll have those out to you guys in the next couple weeks, along with the few little bit we've got of BGD left. So we're really excited. And I can't tell you how beautiful those books came out, guys. Like they're stunning. They really, really are beautiful books.
I saw you tag me on a couple of them, and they do look really nice.
They are so pretty. So pretty. Speaking of pretty, what are you doing over there, madam? You got some stuff going on.
Oh, well, I'm penciling pages for If It Hops, and then I'm going to put all these little details in it that Bladen can't actually figure out what it is, and do twice as much work. Back to the basics.
So chaos, panic, and disorder. Your job is done.
Oh, I just want to stir the pot just a little bit. I want to earn the company taser.
Yeah.
Need the taser,
Or earn the taser for sure.
You ain't getting tased. You ain't having fun.
Yeah, no, dude. Last time, so I've been tased twice, and it was.
I'm sorry, it's not funny.
No, it was. The second time was super funny. The first time was because I had to. You know what I mean? And the second time, it's just because certain people in my life are jackasses, and yeah.
I just have to laugh. I love y'all because this being tased is a common theme with my friends, and you're so I'm like, it must be the people I'm hanging out with.
I wonder. Funny? a lot of people,
it's Dustin. I agree.
Yeah, I say, hey, it seems like a pastime that people could get behind, just tasing the shit out of me. I'm okay with it. It might be a kink. It really might. I believe Bladen might have a thing for tasing me, but that's just
giving or receiving.
I'm an open-minded individual, okay?
I'm like, wow.
I'm learning so much from y'all.
Oh, are you ever?
Oh, I learn more every day. But so we've got these amazing books, and we've talked about some of the stuff going on with some of these incredible books we've got dropping tonight. We've also got our first triple connecting cover set. If you guys haven't seen it, here's the left side, and then you've got your middle side, or your middle, not your side. It's the middle, right? And then you've got your right hand side, and there is a tier with all three of them together.
Okay.
And they're absolutely beautiful. I mean, absolutely beautiful. I love them to pieces.
Those colors just pop.
Oh my God, April killed the color.
April did amazing on that.
Right,
she did an amazing job.
Oh my gosh. And then of course, we've got plenty of our wild covers are on there. So you guys can peep those a little bit. You've got Massey covers, of course. It came out just awesome.
That was so crazy. It was like
a good one, though, isn't it? Like it's a really good one.
I love those glasses.
Element, how action. It's like Mobius or like one of those really cool concepts where everything's moving and everything's crazy.
Right.
Yep.
Like
so
it's
awesome.
Just super, super fun.
It
looks like it could have walked right off of BGD, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It does literally looks like it could have walked off a BGD page. But and then Chris Mad joined up with us. Starting on Underland 2, and I just am blown away by that cover. Like it's
so
pretty tough.
stunningly creepy. It's amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
Right? Like she's looking down at him like, oh my God. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of it. I think it came out really well. Moggs came out super fun too.
Love the colors.
Right? Oh my gosh, the colors. April, tell us about the colors on that one.
It's deceptively sweet looking.
I got my phone above me. Which one? Oh, that one. Yes, we've got Hector Rubilar. if I said that correctly.
You did.
That we've invited to join us for colorists, and he has. I really enjoyed this one with the lavenders or lilac or whatever color with the aqua tones. It totally worked. It adds like that really nice feminine quality to a very grotesque subject matter.
Yeah, it's a pretty tough world. And then Mog's like, I'm gonna do something pretty. Can I do pretty? And it's like, okay, yeah, go for it.
Those missiles that were on the sides of the rabbit totally blew me away. I love those.
Right?
Pretty stuff, pretty missiles.
Right?
Yeah. Like, oh my gosh.
Damn mushrooms everywhere.
Well, then you're always gonna see the mushrooms on that book. Then you got our buddy Vic Moya. Like, Vic's cover is just
wild?
So intense. Like, it's so intense. And our thoughts are with him. He's recuperating from surgery right now. Really, really good dude. And we can't wait to see him back at the table because he is coming on really, really strong. And it's awesome to see. Like, look at the details, though, in this. It's just ridiculous how much cool stuff is in this image.
The toenails. Oh, my God. Oh,
like, every time I look at it, I see something different, that I didn't see before.
Ball
and
hair.
Your eyes, you want to be grossed out, but you're, like, engrossed in it versus being...
It's an engrossing train wreck.
It's really, really cool. Oh, here's a couple people's favorite on the team right now.
Oh, totally.
This one was so much fun because when I got it, so I love the Massies. When the Massies send me things, they do the old school patches. So like they draw like a top and on a small piece of paper and send me the top to put on the art. You know what I mean? So it's like those paper dolls. Right, absolutely. Yeah. It's like paper dolls. So like I'm always so scared I'm gonna mess these things up. Like I'm like, oh my God. I'll be like, Heather, help me do this. My hands don't work as well as they used to. Can we please make sure this is on here correctly? And they just come out so pretty. I mean, so pretty. And the colors. I just was like blown away by her hair, everything about it.
I love her face and especially her eyes. They did an amazing job.
Whitney Cook is someone to keep on notice. Like
we love
Whitney. Colors are so pretty. Yeah. The way she colors, it very much reminds me of like Renee Roth's color palette.
I can see
that.
Sure.
So pretty.
Yep. I'm really happy to see Whitney staying busy and doing that because she's amazing. And
well, we're definitely going to keep her busy. We've got a bunch of covers that I don't even have loaded up on here to show you guys.
Party foul.
I know it's not awful.
Been busy.
Well, thank goodness the campaign goes live.
Yeah, they're all in the campaign at least. I just don't have them loaded up because
fine.
My palette has been
excuses.
I know.
Yeah, no shit, right? Do some work. I'm sorry.
Well, he's still looking for words.
Yeah, I'm always.
That's true. Yes, he's trying to multitask. We know how hard that can be. So
I'm always trying to learn how to do something, But I will show you. Speaking of Renee Raw, I will show you her set, and I am absolutely in love with it. Like. Oh, there's the Massies. We love them.
Yep.
No, I know you do. I think it's funny. I love the patches. Like, it's so much fun for me because I'll sit there and I'll be like, where does this go? And I'll start like, I felt so grateful that you guys labeled them this last time. Like, I was like, this is amazing. It actually tells me where to put it.
It's an IKEA build tab.
Oh my gosh, it was so great. But
the IKEA version.
That's it. We need to do some of those as variants, IKEA cover variants.
Like
the characters getting lost.
I thought you liked our fans.
I love our fans. But it's funny because the like IKEA variants would be like characters getting lost and dying of hunger.
Oh, we could
IKEA.
do an IKEA variant for my metal girl.
Oh my gosh.
Nah,
And my Metal
build it
Girl
yourself.
covers are fucking nuts already, and we've only seen a few of them. So I saw the Massey's today, and that was
Ooh.
batshit crazy. So
Keep in mind, April, a fan is the one who came up with the IKEA thing.
that's
so-
it. Anyway, so check out Renee's cover. Like,
Oh, I love that cover.
That is so
Like,
cool.
it is, you know, I had this idea and I sent it to him, and I was like, hey, can we do this? And, you know, Bladen went through and did his, you know, art director thing, and we got this, and it was just so good and so on point for what I was looking for.
I barely did a thing.
You do the thing. You're great at the
Barely
thing.
did a thing. Didn't have to do much.
Well,
Didn't
just
have to
your
do much.
Your barely doing is amazing, so you did good.
Yeah. So then the
telling.
wild cover, and I'll show it to you because it's not terribly bad, but it's awful. I like just awesome. Like it's just blows my mind where this beautiful image could be in such a horrendous setting. You know what I mean? It's
My
the
heart keeps
same.
getting drawn to the hand that because of the perspective. It's like
Yeah.
it's odd. I like
Like,
it.
help
But it's odd.
I wanted her reaching out to the reader.
Yeah.
You know, so it was just so much fun for us. And
Part of me is like, I want to help you, but don't touch me.
yeah. Has anybody got hand sanitizer? I know all you motherfuckers have it in your cars, especially after fucking COVID. I do too.
Whoa.
So, yeah. So anyway,
Well, you
don't
need
mess with me.
something. You need
Don't
something.
mess with me,
so you
sir.
can- Oh well, okay.
Y'all need to stop. You know, my brain doesn't work as well as it ought to right now.
Yeah, okay. Next. Moving on.
Moving on. Here's another really good one. This one was fun as well. I don't know. I had a lot of fun with this book. So, you know, we got to take it to an gnarlier level with this one, and it was just so much fun for me.
I have to admit the disturbing imagery right in the front distracted me, and it took me a minute to realize to see the butte up at the top there.
Right.
I was like, oh, there's
Well,
Well,
it's a game. It's an
that's
activity
the game,
then.
right?
Yeah.
That's the most interesting part, is to be able to find, you know, beauty in these terrifying pieces and
Mhm.
stuff. And you know, we went in and we wanted to, when we put these books together, the scheduling, you know, April and I sitting down and doing scheduling, it's like, look at all the different. It's Chris Mad. What's going on, man? We were just talking about you.
hey,
We
in a good way.
we do the scheduling, and it was like, well, what are we going to put this beautiful imagery up against? And you're just going, 2 books, but they need to be so different. You know, whenever we do these, doing these campaigns the way that we're doing now in the pre-orders, we have to make sure that you guys have different types of product to look at. You know, I mean, your dark and dreary versus your happy shiny type of deal. You know, we wanted to make sure that everybody was getting a different type of artwork as we moved through these products. And I couldn't be happier with the amount of work everybody's done. And it's just been a spectacular experience working on these books at the same time. Because normally, like I said, it's like Christmas for me when art comes in, because I see art every day, you know, so I'm just like, yes, it's amazing. But now that we're doing 2 books at a time and 3 books at a time, I think we're working on like 5 right now consecutively. But it's literally like you get to see all these different covers and all this different style, and it's just an amazing experience. And I'm so grateful to be able to work with the amazing people that I get to work with.
In April, we are witnesses. He actually admitted that he gets the art and sees it.
Uh-huh.
I see it. You know who shows me though? Them. So
I
see?
show it to you when I'm ready to show it to you.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Exactly. I get to see it when
And somebody sneaks around the back and he's like, "What is this?" I'm like, "You weren't supposed to see that."
like I didn't
Not
get to
yet.
see that. What is happening? I'm gonna let you guys take over because I gotta reach out to Russ real quick. I got a couple questions for him before we go live. But anyway, I'll be right back.
Oh
You
yes.
have the room. New topic.
Oh,
Uh-oh, look out.
Oh boy. Oh
Yeah.
my.
I got
I am
nothing.
so excited for Kill Cam. I cannot wait. Like, I've been looking forward to that book for like the last 4 or 5 months. I don't know.
Woohoo.
Yeah, it's kind of been like just floating there, just ready, and it's just so much potential badassness, and just
I know, right? Well,
Yep.
I mean,
You gotta love badassery, right?
it's all the cool stuff. Like, I'm a huge fan of like Tank Girl and Firefly and like a lot of these like wild books. I mean, yeah, I feel like whenever you're gonna have some sort of major odyssey, they throw them into like oh, I don't know, police dramas, well, if it helps, medical dramas, or like this, space stuff.
Uh-huh.
And I like the space stuff because you can get some quasi weird science stuff as well as the fanciful alien world.
Exactly.
Yeah, like you really could just bend and I don't know, flex the potential for creativity so well on it rather than having to base it on, a blue sky and, brown dirt. We
Well,
can
prepare to
really
be
do
disappointed
anything.
because I'm in charge.
What?
So prepare to be disappointed because I'm in charge. I
Well,
draw 3 things.
So
you
keep
get to do
expectations
black
low.
and white, so and camo.
Yeah.
I think it allows for definitely more creativity and more variety, and also I think a bigger ability for suspension of disbelief. So
Absolutely.
because it is that space thing. Yeah, it's space.
Totally.
Anything can happen out there. It's
It
like
doesn't have to be. Yeah, it doesn't have to be normal.
exactly.
The final frontier.
That's
Oh
right.
no, it doesn't even have to
I'm
be the
really
final.
excited to
I think I'm gonna put like a big shoe print here.
I'm excited for it because I've read it already. So,
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Yes.
so
Got the inside scoop.
Hey, are we supposed to get a review, or did you already post that? And if you did, where can people find it, Nate?
So I gave my first review to Dustin. So, and he was supposed to edit it and send it back to me, but guess what? I don't have yet.
Okay. Well,
you don't have it yet because
sorry, that went nowhere. Sorry.
I read it. It's good. I just have to change a couple little objects on it, and then we'll go forward.
All right,
But
my bad. I wasn't trying to call anyone out. I was just trying to.
let us know what you think about Kill Cam. You said you read it, right?
I did. I read it when you sent it to me.
Right on.
I don't want to spoil it for Shawnee, so I'm not going to give you the inside scoop that you want. But I will tell you.
I'm good with whatever you're willing to share.
But I will tell you, get ready because it's going to be completely different. So think of it as Lobo from DC Comics as a girl takes on all kinds of shit real fast in the book because it's.
I had not thought of it that way. I like that.
It's a fun little ride because, just the way it kicks off, with the background setting of the bar. Now, I'll tell you, there's a bar involved.
Where they do complex math?
Yes. But it's an interesting thing because it kind of has a BGD feeling to it. When you're reading it, it's like you have that kind of concept, like, okay, you can see this is BGD in space.
That's good, right?
Exactly. I had a blast with it. I will tell you too, at the ending point of the book, you can kind of tell that there is a hierarchy because of who they are hired by to do it. And so they're given specific tasks as these badass bounty hunters. But they're going to have a lot of roles that change. You can kind of see that each person has a specialty in what they do, whether it's, the normal human, the mermaid, or the cat. Is she a cat or is she like a kangaroo? Okay. I was going to ask you that. I'm looking at her like she looks like a cat, but she doesn't at the same time.
No, she's neither.
Yeah, she's like a mix of she's a space alien, bro. Get out of here.
Well, I know. I'm trying to make it easy for everybody that way they can reference it.
She's a kangaroo.
Okay,
right,
that's it.
Right. Well, the project is live. Female Lobo, yeah. So
Lobo.
What they're the only thing Russ has to add is the original art, and he's adding that now. So for you guys that are curious, all the pages are available on the Kickstarter. So what you see Bladen working on right now, that will be available. His cover art will be available. And then we've also, as usual, we've got sketch covers for both books that you guys will be able to pick up. And Russ will be adding those here shortly.
Oh, yeah.
So we're really, really excited about the campaign and what we're being able to bring to the table. One of the things that we've brought back that you guys liked so much was print packets, 11 by 17 print packets of each cover. So what I mean by each cover is you'll literally get a virgin cover with a beautiful setup that April made for these prints. They come out and they look so good when they come out. Like, I kid you not, it's got the Ethereal logo on it. It's got the, the names of the individuals that worked on the project at the bottom. They just look really, really good. So you're not just getting a printed out 11 by 17 slapped on a thing.
Which would still be cool, but
which would still be cool, of course. But no, depending on how many we get, I will number them. So if you guys pick up a print pack, I'll number them. So it'll be a lot of fun. I'm excited.
Don't number them.
Okay.
The boss lady.
No. As we start to roll out the convention schedule for 2024, even 2025, we still want to be able to open our, our prints up for those who missed out on those particular pieces. For sure. Or we've got our artists that we allow to create their prints. And so we don't want to confuse that, this one was limited to 25. Why is artist so-and-so selling a licensed print of it? And then it gets confusing. So I would not number them unless we are like closing that one off from.
Yeah, we don't print the covers again as prints. I've never run a cover twice. So, but
no, not the covers, but the print packs.
For sure. Yeah, I got you.
So this sounds like a discussion to be had later on.
Thanks.
So, but there will be print packs.
Whether or not they're going to be numbered,
but there will be.
And they'll be great.
So. Okay. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah, thank you.
Sorry.
I appreciate that.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
All right, I just backed it, so get on it.
Thanks,
Johnny.
man. I appreciate it.
Cool.
I got an initial in, and then I'll go muck around and add.
Yeah, get in there and peek around because there's all kinds of fun stuff. Like there's literally, as we get in here and get to pushing, you'll start to see the different types of character development with this new book, and you'll get to see the different types of, stuff we've got going on with the individuals. The girls have a lot of growth to go through. You'll find that it's as fun and as happy-go-lucky as it is, it's also very serious at the same time. But they don't take life seriously. You have these characters that are just, I don't want to say like super carefree, but they are. They're like, the whole girls just want to have fun thing. You know what I mean? And that's how I view them. I view the three of them as these individuals that are, you'll see their backstories eventually, but they're characters that have, they fell into this job. It was easy money, and now they're continuously making easy money. You've got one that's got a military background, the other one that's, has grown up on a harsh world, but has never really known strife. You know what I'm saying? And then you've got one who's just never lived on, outside of her own realm. And now all of a sudden she's getting to see the universe, and it's the most exciting thing for her, so she's literally, everything is new. Everything's exciting, and if Daphne says it, that's the way that we need to go, because she knows what she's talking about, so it's really fun. Another really cool concept about this story is the ship itself. And Bladen spent a lot of time on the ship, which was really, really cool because I had ideas. Each character that I'd written has their own biome in the ship. So it's personalized to that individual. but they're all so comfortable in it. They're like, it's a home away from home for them. So like you'll see the characters, I'm a big fan of suspending disbelief. It's a big deal for me. I've always, since book 1, I've pushed that, because I'm really trying to draw you into a story, so like issue 1 with Daphne, she gets back on the ship and she's stripping as she enters the ship, and she's hanging up pieces of armor, to get comfortable with what she's wearing underneath of it. No one's going to walk around in their normal day-to-day with armor on. That's just not a normal thing that someone would do, at least not in any world I've ever been in. I come home from work and I'm ready to strip down and just be in some basketball shorts or something and hang out. I have no interest in wearing 150 pounds of body armor or whatever
I'm not
it is.
disagreeing with you, but I love how you would easily include normal into these worlds.
That's the point, though. As we go through things like this, we really want to show you the normality of these characters. Like what excites them, what makes them smile, what's or what makes them fearful. And I think that emotion is such an important part of storytelling. If you can't feel the emotion on a character's face, it's boring. You know what I mean? It's not, it's like one of those things where I've always said that you should be able to read an ethereal book just by looking at the pages. You really should. And that's how I've always felt about comic books. If you can't figure out the story by looking at the panels, then we're not telling the tale correctly. You can add the little nuances and stuff with words, of course, but your readers should still be able to pick it up, flip through it, and enjoy it if they just want to flip through it. And that's any book. You should literally just be able to pick up any book, because you're not reading a novel, right? You're not reading a novel. As much as I love novels, you're not reading one. You're reading a story that you have 24 to 30 pages to knock out. So the majority of your storytelling is done by phenomenal artwork. So we want to make sure that whether it's a side eye view that someone gives, or a
over the shoulder.
Yeah, man. What I mean?
Butt shot.
That's it. It's got to have feeling no matter what you put on the page.
Yep.
And if it doesn't, it's really weak. And in an industry right now where there are so many talented folks, to stand out, you've literally got to give it the whole ass all the time. So when we go in to tell you a story, you're going to get the facial expressions, the squint of an eye if it's real bright outside. If somebody slaps a butt cheek, you're going to catch a ripple on that cheek. You know what I mean? It's these nuances. He's good at it. He knows what I like to see.
Y'all got some big lofty expectations there. I don't know.
It's those things.
You haven't disappointed yet, so I'm not worried.
I just really dig the deprecation. I just, that's my game.
I have an addiction to nuance.
You do? I told you we got to start making a drinking game, because you said it like 3 or 4 times in the last 2 minutes.
We have not gotten a data yet, though. I'm waiting on that.
Oh my gosh,
my bingo card,
so bad.
Still blank on that.
Y'all are the absolute worst. Anyway, so there's like.
You got to explain this one. We might not all know the story on this one.
On which one? The data. Oh, that's just whenever Dustin's just struggling for something, or when he's listing things, or when someone
would
say,
is that uses words placeholder?
Yes, that's what it is. When I'm trying to find a
him.
word to use, or there'll be, what I mean, or something will come up to hold my spot so my brain can catch up and find my word that I want to use.
Makes from minor percussion. I mean, everybody does something.
Yeah, I've had a few of those. So, I mean, I'm sure that's probably why. It has to do.
You're not in trouble.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
It's like the whole broken. I've broke my hand 4 times. I've got a Bach's fracture in the same hand 4 times, which is why I don't draw. So I mean, I've been doing art since I was 10, and now I don't draw because I broke my hand 4 times. So
It'll be 5 if you get a hold of the freight people.
yeah. Oh my God. I'm
No.
trying not to
No.
think. Well, you are froggy this evening.
When is she not?
Oh, that's true. When is she not? She's always
Mhm.
froggy.
Mhm.
I don't really know what froggy means.
Means you're about
Can
to
you tell
jump.
it to me in Creole?
Oh,
There you go.
deep fry for you.
Oh my gosh, deep fried? Yeah,
Deep fried
fry it. Deep fry them frog legs. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Speaking of frog legs, we've been seeing a lot of colors come in, so that's exciting. That
Nice.
book is well on its way and looks really, really good. I just, when we started, oh my gosh, there are 30 people trying to message me all at the same time right now.
Well, it's because they got to know more about, the nuances of kill cam.
That's right.
But I'm
Shawnee's
Anyway.
I'm putting down.
Yeah, you're fired.
who, her, or me, or both of us.
Thank
Everyone's
God I'm
kicked
head of
out.
HR. I'll file
Yeah,
the paperwork.
right. I got to file that with HR and it disappeared. What are you doing here? Oh, well, I just happened to. I didn't get the note. So,
Gotta go back to
the
the
sticky
training
note
again.
didn't make it through my email.
Oh my goodness.
So, but it's just a lot of cool things are on the campaign right now for this particular book. Like I said, Bladen's covers will be available. His cover art will be available. As usual, April's doing some blanks. Bladen's doing some blanks. So make sure you guys get in there and snag those. I am.
Blank.
I'm going through the campaign making a damn list. It's like it's
Dude,
getting
there's
longer and
so
longer.
many cool things. Like there
It's
really,
cool
really are
stuff.
so many cool
You're killing
things.
me, Dustin. You're killing me
Well,
in a good way.
Yeah, I'm doing my best to make sure that all these folks have jobs. I was talking to
Yes.
a couple people about that the other night. We're at 63 team members right now in Ethereal, and
Every time I talk to you, the number goes up.
It
Which is not a
does.
bad thing, but it's just I'm like,
But
It's
it's
crazy.
because we're really getting nice, talented people.
oh no, that's amazing.
Who,
That's good.
yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah, growth.
Yes.
it's-
Grow
the
and
growth
everything
is
else
amazing.
and get those talent in.
And they're so
all good.
cool. Everybody's so much fun to work with. I don't get the opportunity to talk to half the people anymore. But it's like it is so cool because I'll see a name come across and I'll be like Chris Mad, right? I had not talked to Chris Mad. April had talked to Chris, and it was like his art. I was like, man, his artwork's great. Like that guy, you know what I mean? And then it's like they don't even know who you are unless you reach out, and say something. And it's, your colorists are the same way, or anybody else, your artist that, like your Bladen being the art director, if he talks to somebody and I don't, you know what I mean? That's their connection, so it's like new phone, who dis anytime I reach out to somebody. And I'm just like, I'm fuck nobody, you know what I mean? I just happen to like comic books. I'm sorry.
I just want to say, I just found LC's cover.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes.
Well, there's Dan. Dan's
Beautiful.
good, dude. Love Dan's colors.
Dan.
His colors are
Dan
so
did a
fucking
great
good.
job on that.
Oh man, yeah. You just found LC's cover. Yeah, for
Kill Cam.
Kill Cam. Oh my god, the wild
Uh-huh.
edition of that is fucking spectacular.
I haven't gotten that far yet. I'm getting there.
Look, there you go, April. She's very kind and professional. Don't you
Aw.
lie about her, Dan.
Aw.
Don't you lie. Oh my gosh.
Just ornery. I'll
Just
build your
ornery,
basement too,
yeah.
sir.
That's it. Well, see, I have I keep an April like meter, and I let it go so long, and then I'm just like, I got to reset the April meter before it gets too fucking far. Got to rein that shit back in, or it won't come back ever.
Oh
So,
my gosh, you did that on
no,
Monday.
no.
You're all like, no, I've accounted for the.
That's right.
I'm like, I'm
We
so
account for
sorry.
so much. You have like a range. It's like she can go so far, and then all of a sudden I start choking. You know, I start choking on Mountain Dew and shit, and I'm fucking.
It's the Captain Crunch. It's the Captain Crunch.
I don't eat Captain Crunch.
Yet you're gonna get desperate,
Honey
and that's
Bunches
gonna be
of
all
Oats.
that's in your pantry.
That's
You're
it.
gonna be
It's
like,
Honey
fuck
Bunches
it,
of
and you're
Oats.
just gonna two-fist it like right into your mouth, and you're gonna be like,
No,
I don't know
I'm
why
not
I
eating
fought
it.
it for so long.
No, it tears your mouth all up. I used to eat that shit as a kid. It's gross. Tears your mouth up. Cuts your mouth
Hey,
all
look.
up.
Hey,
All right, I
look.
found the wild version.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Elsie's wild cover's fucking balling, man. Like there's
Hot damn. That's all I gotta
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't joke about him being the king of ass for nothing. Now, when Trevor comes back from sabbatical or however he's gonna be
Oh,
gone.
we're gonna have a tushy off.
Yeah,
Oh,
it'll be a thing. Well, I know April's reached out about the Asses of Ethereal book. So eventually we'll see.
Bottoms up.
That's it. Bottoms up. And that is not a water cooler title. That's the title I'm actually running with for that book. So
I agree.
it
I
should
like
be
it.
a lot of fun. I was talking to Nate earlier about the water cooler title for fucking Kill Cam. And because I didn't change it, so when I send the scripts out, I don't change the fucking title, even if it was a working title. And it was mad funny. He was like, well, we got to do a variant with the title of that. And I was like, there's no way we're calling it that. It is just not. If I put bad bitches from space on a fucking on a cover, it was bad. It was bad bounty hunter or bad bounty bitches from space is what the original script said. And I was like, no, we're definitely not doing that. Well, the Utah VD was funny. You know what I mean? That was funny. If we did like almost like a spoof book sometime with the fucking water cooler titles, that would be funny. Like if we just did cover like an art book with the spoof titles, that'd be funny.
Be hilarious.
Oh my gosh. Can you imagine Utah VD? Oh my God.
So funny.
Dinosaurs with the herp. I mean, it wouldn't be great. I just, it
Oh
would be
my.
super funny. There's, but like I said, don't forget, there is a lot of original artwork. There's a bunch of fun stuff on there. I think that right now with the issues that we're having with pillows, and that's because that's the only thing we order from out of this country. And the way the world is working right now has a factor on us and our pillows right this second. So they are still coming. They're just taking a little bit longer to get than normal. So I don't think we'll be putting out pillows for a while, guys. I am really sorry. I got an email about it this morning. So we may not be adding them to campaigns for the foreseeable future just because of the state of the world. And that sucks because
it does, but it's out of your control and there's nothing you can do.
No. I mean, for sure. But they're a lot of fun, and everybody that's gotten them has enjoyed them because they're different. And
I'll just make them a little more special too. I mean, if until the world settles, and then you can offer
for
them
sure.
Again, then
That
people are
being
going to go
said,
gangbusters again for them. So
I have a few left here at my house. I don't have any inserts for them, but I have them. So we'll see how that goes. But like I said, Bladen's cover will be available for Kill Cam. I know that's in there. There's some other original art going up. I think we might have a Massey cover on there. We'll see. Just depends on how well the campaign is doing before we reach out and start putting out some more stuff like that. So, man, oh man, Nate, have you read Underland?
I read the first one, not the second one yet.
Let me know what you think about Underland. We got about 5 more minutes. We'll do that last. Then we'll give everybody a good evening and whatnot. I have got to get into these freight orders, so I gotta have it done by like Monday.
like I said, we want you healthy, but yes, please, I want my books.
Shoot, Shawnee, stay on after, and I'll tell you what she keeps teasing me about this freight order.
Oh no.
So let's give the floor to Mighty Nate, and we'll get moving.
So Underland 1, I've read through that one. You guys are in for a fucking treat because these books are freaking awesome. I like how the story is completely different than every other Alice in Wonderland story, for one thing, because it takes a different turn on it. So like the Mad Hatter, for example, going through that piece of it. Like I said, I've only read the preview book that you sent me so far. So reading through that, I see how it's going to work as far as she's going to be a diabolical person per se, or creature, I want to say more like creature, than I do a human being, because it seems like there's going to be a lot of things go on as we push through it. But what I'm concerned about is to see how this Tweedledee and Tweedledum work into this, because I'm not going to say I have a thing for cannibals, but I do like to see like what goes through their minds as far as, hey, this is a bunch of dudes that eat other people.
Yeah.
Like I'm a huge Wes Craven fan too, so
For
The
sure.
Hills Have Eyes. And to
we took
figure
a lot
out
of reference from The Hills Have Eyes for those characters.
And I've noticed that. And for me, it's interesting to see, how do they become this way? Like, Tweedledee and Tweedledum there leading, Alice. But the question is will we see a backstory on these two hooligans? As far as like why they turned out the way they are, and everything. So, and I figured we probably will, as the story goes on.
You were originally going to get it from their point of view, is how it was written. The second issue was actually going to, originally in conception, it was going to be from their point of view. But it was the darkest thing I've ever written in my life. And I've been writing horror for 10 years, 11 years now. And it was literally the darkest thing I've ever put out. Right. And it was something that I had spoken to April about, and it was something that I had spoken to Joseph about. I had talked to Heather about it. I literally ran the gamut with how uncomfortable I was about putting it out. And so when I decided against that, thanks, Dan. I appreciate it, man. When I decided against that, it was like, we can still make it really scary and really gnarly, but we'll run it from the Hatter and Alice's point of view. Because originally when the concepts for the books came out, Alice was an element. She wasn't a main character per se. She was the book, basically. So you would have all these characters that you were looking from their point of views, but Alice would arrive and be a portion of a story that would all add up eventually, and I'd put them all together for her own book at the end, was the concept of it. And the more I got to working with these characters, the more I realized that the Hatter is so big. Like, the character that we've created is larger than life. And it's funny because everybody that does that character makes that character larger than life. And I don't even think they mean to do it all the time. It's just the character evolves in such a way that she's going to be he or she is going to be a standout no matter what you put them in, and even if they're a million times different than the original, which ours is a million times different. So as you're building this up, I was like, well, look at Batman, right? I don't write short stories. Those of you guys that read my books know I don't write short stories. So every villain or antagonist in our books will get their own limelight. You know what I mean? Because I'm not a fan of, I was a big fan of Sinister Six with Spider-Man. Spider-Man's my favorite book. I've got almost every single issue to date. And I never liked wondering where my villains were at. It's like, you've got all this going on, but where the hell is Doc Ock? You know what I mean? Or why isn't the Vulture involved in this? Or, we're not explaining their absences. Like when you would do with like Eddie Brock, you'd be like, well, he's in San Francisco doing this while Peter Parker's in New York doing this. That's why you don't see Eddie in Peter's books in this point in time or whatever. You know what I mean? But the other characters, there would be no reason, or unless they were locked up on the raft, right? Which was a cheap way to knock a character out for a while.
Right.
Lock them up on the raft and you won't fucking see them for 6 years or whatever it was, and like when Carnage got out and the Sentry ripped him in half, you know what I mean? We hadn't seen the Carnage Cletus Cassidy in quite some time before that period. Now he's fucking everywhere and I'm over it. But it's like, I don't give a shit anymore. It used to be my favorite thing in the world. I mean, Venom was my, uber favorite character ever, and now I'm just so fucking done with the new writing that it's silly. But you have to evolve these characters. You have to give them life just like you do your main character. So like you mentioned, what is their motivation? Why do they do these things? Well, that ties into the Red Queen, because my Red Queen is different than anything you've ever seen before. So why are these guys? I mean, there's obviously more than they need to eat that they're hunting and bringing back to this place, and you'll start to see what it involves, almost like a meat factory, you know what I mean? Maybe, but it's a fun concept to me that we can make it so scary, but so interesting at the same time. I think it's very akin to back in the day, McFarlane did the Twisted Land of Oz.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, I have all the pieces from it. And I remember thinking it was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen, and even down to the collector's edition that you had to join the club to get the flying monkeys and stuff. I was all about that life. And so to be able to make a scary story out of something that I felt like America McGee had already done, I wanted to top it. I wanted to make it that much better. And that's not saying that I'm better than America McGee. Please don't take that as what I mean. What I mean is I challenge myself to try to be anywhere near as good as the people that I admire. So like if I tell you that I'm a fan of someone's writing and I want to be better than that, it's a compliment to that individual, because they're so incredible that I want to be there. That's the person I want to be, and if you look at Ethereal right now, my goal was always to make us a brand that you guys could be happy to support and be happy to be a part of. That's the same type of building that I do. It's always about how we can improve the story, not
I have
be
a question
better.
for Nate.
Uh-oh, get him.
No, I'm just curious because, he brought up just the whole, not to give anything away. I do have the preview as well. I looked at it. It's been a while. But the whole cannibal thing, I'm wondering, do you feel like it's, for me, is it like the taboo of the subject too? That because that's not something I think that's necessarily approached in a lot of media and everything else. So I'm wondering if that also has that impact. Would you say it was for?
Well, if you watch how social media has been, when's the last time you heard about cannibals?
Right.
If you think about the last 20 years, you don't really hear about it anymore.
Right.
The only time you really hear about it is if it's overseas and in a nation or in a place that are backwoods, or something like that, or it's something that happened. There's some kind of tragedy that causes that, and I believe that tragedy in the story of Underland is going. I'm not going to say that I think the Red Queen's mama, but I got a feeling Mama Red Queen has a lot to do with why they're cannibals.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah.
And that's just my opinion. I don't know if that's true or not. I haven't read that far yet in the story. But what I can say is like there's always typically, even in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, for example, yes, Dan, I understand that one. I'm sorry. But
Mexico, we have cannibals every Wednesday.
Exactly. Like,
But
Well,
like
as
in
long
the
as you don't drink the water, I think it's okay to eat people. You're just not supposed to drink the water, right?
don't drink the water with cholera in it. But cannibalism has been around for many and many years, hundreds and centuries. But there's always a reason why it happens. Like
Right.
if you've
For
ever
sure.
watched Wrong Turn, for example, the movie. So what happened was they became a backwoods people. They became inbred. They became everything because they didn't like society as a whole. So what did they do? Well, they ran out of food, so they started eating one another.
Yeah.
Same way in The Hills Have Eyes. You know, they're in the middle of a desert. There's nothing there. The only thing they can eat is whatever they can find. And then if you happen
which
to
is
be
generally
there,
people who wander.
exactly.
Yeah.
You were
Just
dinner
make a
today.
musical.
Exactly. Musical.
Oh, dinner bell.
Oh. So I
High
guess I was just curious because, like you said, there's usually a reason behind it, and
Yep.
and it is in the world and out there. But I think again, we're so abhorrent of those reasons. Whatever. I mean, we understand they do happen sometimes, but I think the sheer fact that it does exist gives you the creepy crawlies just in general. So I think being able to bring that into Underland and make that a part of this in a cool way is going to be, like you said, it's going to be very, very different. And it's going to be interesting to see how that storyline evolves.
And I think that what really, kind of makes it weird for a lot of people is that it's human beings typically that are cannibals.
Yep.
It's not a zombie. It's not some space creature. It's a human being that's eating somebody else.
Isn't that
And
what
that's
makes it scary, though? That's what makes
Yeah.
it scary, I think.
It does. Yeah.
For me,
it
yeah,
totally makes it more.
Yeah, my little brain goes, but why?
Exactly.
You know, are you going to eat that left nut? I'll grab that one.
Oh, yeah.
You know, there's
It's not like they used them. It'll be fine.
right. You know, it's a very innate thing when you talk about cannibalism, right? It's something like you really have to get into a mindset that's why I said it was a very terrifying story. You know what I mean? Like, and even with the way that Liara started making her characters comical looking and stuff like that, it was still it's still definitely terrifying. You know what I mean? Because these guys are they're very much they don't feel bad about it. There's nothing in their core being that is apologetic for ending the life of another individual. If you look at the pages that we've shared on the campaign right now, one of the Tweedledum actually walks to one of the individuals one of the little people that work with them and tears his head off. You know what I mean? And it's literally because he laughed at him for tripping. You know what I mean? I tried to bring comical elements into it, and with Liaris's style, it softens the blow a little bit, but it's a very horrifying experience for these two individuals. And I think that there's a very epic scene in the back of the book, and that is very reminiscent to Greg Bo's cover. And I wanted to make sure, yeah, man, for sure. I wanted to make sure that we gave it the due diligence that it needed.
I think
to
it's
show you.
Yeah, I think it's quite a balance to make it that disturbing, like you said,
Yeah,
but yet, like you said, well, it's a very almost matter. That's life. It's a fact of life for them. That's how they live. So
Right.
that balance of
good eating, yeah,
good
everything.
eating, so you're looking
hard
good.
to find.
Well, it's just one of those things again where, like, as a kid, I say as a kid, but I was probably 20, 21 when The Hills Have Eyes came out. And, it was probably the movie for me at that point in time who loved horror movies. Heather is big into these, like, what's going on, Josh?
Joshua.
Heather is big into the scary movies, like the almost torture porn movies, right? She likes that kind of movie, like your Saw and stuff like that. And I'll admit, I think the Saw story is interesting. I'm not a fan of the films. I'm not a fan of over the top violence for no reason. Contrary to certain works that I've put out. But there is a lot to be said about, you know, what we're imbibing, right? What we're taking in. And I look at this like one of those books where we can reach a point. You know, there's no point in just going past that. Because like I said, when Hills Have Eyes came out, I remember Heather and I saw it in the theater. And to this day, I have a shit memory. Like my memory really, really sucks. And I'll never forget that rape scene in the you know, in that movie. And I was like, I fucking hate this movie. Like, this is the dumbest shit I've ever seen. But from a writing perspective, it's terrifying, because what is scarier to certain people than that act? We can hate it as men, and we can absolutely loathe the individuals, but we can never understand how terrifying that can be. So when you put that in there, right, so you're literally popping off the scariest thing you can think of to a female individual. You know what I mean? So yeah, I understand it from a writing perspective. Again, so going into Underland and working with creepy characters like that and stuff, it was one of those. I don't know. It was almost a surreal concept when I started working with, like, why are those individuals like that? Why do we create this terrifying place where they're at and what they're doing? Why are they stalking these people that are living in this underground, basically nightmare that they're living in? You know what I mean? With no sunlight. And it's just like, cool, because they worked for the Red Queen. Well, why? Why are they doing what they're doing? So yeah, I totally get the questioning of it and the concepts, and you know, their reasoning behind where they are. Because I get in my characters' heads. Like I pull up residents in characters' heads, and with them though, they want to serve. You know, that's who they are. They can't live alone. They have to be taken care of, you know? So you'll find that they have a relationship with other characters and stuff in the story. You know, like your White Rabbit plays a big part in dealing with D and Dumb, you know? So, and
I just call him the tweet.
Yeah. Then you get involved with, you know, you got to meet him in the first issue. So you'll get to see where it goes in the second issue. The Hatter is terrified of them. She's absolutely horrified of them, wants nothing to do with them whatsoever. But we're doing some character building for Alice in this issue, where it's like, she's like, well, you can't just leave those people. And the Hatter's like, well, dude, they're already dead. You know what I mean? If they're going in there, they're dead. There's no getting them out. And Alice is like, well, you know, I'll go by myself then. And it's just one of those things where now you've got a character that is, I don't deal in heroes and villains very much. I deal in a very gray area, because I don't
gray area.
Right, white, gray, black, and camo. I'm with you.
Yes. He said camo.
Uh-oh.
There is a wiener on a cover, Mr. Cassidy. There for sure is a wiener on one of those covers, and it was done by the great Vic Moya.
Dun dun dun.
If you're chasing a phallus cover, there is one, and it happens to be on this cover.
There's more than one on there.
Yeah, there is. I didn't see the other, so I've only seen the one. He said there's 2 or 3 actually. I've only seen the one.
Censor it, and I was just like, oh, hey, how about all those in the back?
Yep.
Where's Waldo?
Background.
There's a dick hanging over there. Make sure you censor that dick. Don't forget that one.
We'll censor one ball.
Yeah. It's, you know what's funny? If you look at the color pattern for that cover, it might be another red dick from Ethereal back there in the back. It must be cold in there. You know.
Well, he's dead. It's okay.
Yeah, I
It's
don't
okay.
think I don't know that they get erect when you die. I think that has to do with blood flow. That I may be wrong though. I've never been dead, so I don't know if that's a thing.
I bet you could probably find a $15 workshop course.
I bet I could.
Yeah.
I bet I've learned there's all kinds of workshops online for cheap. So
Oh yeah.
It's called fly by nights. Don't go there.
I'm learning new stuff all the time. But the book funded. Thanks again, guys. We're excited about that.
No way.
Half an hour for this one, which is super, super exciting.
Yep.
And
1602.
Nice.
Love it. Love it. There are all kinds of cool pieces coming out from that. Yeah.
First appearance.
Later. Thanks, Jess.
Bye.
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 So there's a lot going on, like I said,
Quick question for you, Dustin. And this is sorry, I'm getting deep in a little bit. I'm just curious, but you said that I can see why this went really, really dark. And so you kind of got uncomfortable with that. And I can see that you do get in your characters' heads. You become a part of them. They're a part of you. Was it hard then to kind of scale back and bring it back from the brink of all that darkness? Was it
the only character that I've had a difficult time walking away from has been Wrath.
Okay.
That is the only character that I've had a hard time because as gnarly as this story got, I don't think there's anything scarier than he is. I honestly don't. I don't think there's anything more frightening than that character. Anything I've ever read, whether it's novels, religious texts, comic books, I do not think there's anything darker than that character that I've read yet.
Okay.
And so, no, D and Dumb are stupid characters. They're not intelligent. So
that helped, I imagine.
Yeah, it's not hard to walk away from their. They've got that eat, sleep, fuck mentality. That's their, you know what I mean. That's their lives. They, please the queen. You know what I mean. That's the mentality of these two characters. They're literally like puppy dogs. They have to have
vicious and cannibalistic puppy dogs, but
to no end. You know what I mean? But you'll notice throughout they don't talk a lot. They don't like when people talk to them a lot. It's very short sentences, very, to the point, almost childlike behavior. Shut up. I'm mad. I like this. You know what I mean? It's very simple conversation.
And their simplicity goes too. If you piss them off by talking to them too much, head comes off. That's problem solved.
Don't laugh at them. Childlike, you know what I mean? If I laugh at my 4-year-old, he gets pissed off. You know what I mean? Don't laugh at me.
He punches you in the dick.
Yeah, he will. He'll run right up and cock punch me. Like, it's not a problem in the world for him. So, but when it comes to these characters, though, we're pushing them to a point where we have to, again, they have to be believable. You know what I mean? So when you go, are you in their head? Yes. But when it comes to characters like this, we're in their head more to figure out how other people would respond to them versus their responses, because their responses are more or less animalistic. They communicate enough to get what they need to buy, but they're by no means, a Jekyll and Hyde relationship. You know what I mean? It's literally like me, tall brother, you short, stupid brother. You know what I mean? It's and that's intentional.
A horrific Dumb and Dumber.
That's it. It's very intentional because I feel like when you take away someone's mentality, when you take away their reasoning, their right from wrong, and instead just give them a focal point. When you have a character, the focal point is everything to them. If pleasing the Red Queen is what they want to do and what they live for, nothing's going to stop them from that. There's no questioning it. If the Red Queen says do it, we're more than happy to. Even if it costs us our lives, we'll lay them down because that's what she asked for.
Gotcha.
It's almost like zealots. It's very you know, in your face, balls to the wall type of thing, and versus the White Rabbit, who has his own machinations and his own, you know, reasoning behind the things that he does, even though he works for the Red Queen. You know what I mean? But the bigger question that starts cropping up is, who is the Red Queen? You know, what is the Red Queen? Why?
I'm sure that's we'll get into that eventually.
Yeah, that starts getting into the larger world that you're inside of. You know, what was the deal with the giant metal caterpillar in issue 1? You know what I mean? You know, there's all kinds of, you know, I'm so glad that we got the previews out before, you know, so everybody got to see the previews and stuff, and it's building on to what we're pushing forward. You know, I just think that you guys are really in for a treat with some of these characters, especially, you know, with the newer characters we're putting out and the newer storylines. So yeah, no, it was not a hard time walking away from D and Dumb. D and Dumb were very fun to write in their own way, but not hard for me to walk away from. One of the newer characters that was difficult for me to walk away from is actually from There Be Shadows. I had a really hard time putting There Be Shadows down. Like, it has not been an easy thing for me, because I love all of it.
That intrigues us, because we're like, ooh.
Yeah, that one I've had a real hard time putting it down. Like, it is same thing with Kill Cam. Kill Cam, if I didn't have 4 books done already, I would probably still be elbows deep in Kill Cam. But with that many books written and edited, I can put it down for a minute and not have to worry.
You got to a point where you're okay.
Yeah. I mean, I've got a year's worth of content put away for that book. You know what I mean? There's, you know, same thing with BGD. I've got almost a year's worth of content of BGD put away. You know, there's If It Hops, I've got almost a year's worth of content put away. You know, so I'm never stretching myself thin when I write for you guys. So I always go in and I measure what I'm doing, so I have time to dedicate specifically for each project. You know, I never want anybody to be like, oh man, you're really pulling yourself in different directions. But I'm not, though. The thing that I do the most is run this business. That takes up most of my time. And if I didn't have April and Bladen, you would never see me. I would never even walk out into the sunlight, because I just don't have time.
The wide world? What's that?
What's my eyes? My
right.
eyes.
Burning ball of fire in the
Like
sky.
a guppy with like
Mountain Dew run.
Right. I wouldn't even do that. I'd have the Walmart people drive that shit to my house. You know what I mean?
Drop it off on the porch.
Yeah, I'd never even leave. I'd have Uber take my daughter to school and stuff.
So thank you, April.
Yeah.
And Lady's not here, so
I would never.
I didn't mean to interrupt your any of your review. I mean, because I'm always interested in what you have to say too. Anything else to add?
Oh.
Yeah. So one thing I do want to add, though, is that you were talking about There Be Shadows. We were talking about this earlier today.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably going to be one of my favorite books of the year when it actually comes out, because of the story. So, Shawnee, you are in for a freaking treat, but it's horrific.
That's okay.
To say the least.
It's different, though. It's a different type of horror than we've given you so far.
It's really going to stretch your imagination. But if you go back to thinking of it as a child, so if you put yourself into 2 personalities ways, think of it as an adult, but then think about it as a scared child and going through the situation. It's completely 2 different views of the same book.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's
holy crap. Now, okay, Dustin, get with it.
You look at Greed, right? You look at Greed with Oz, and he is 10 years old of modern suburban boy. You know what I mean? Like, adventure is exciting, and I want to do things, and I've grown up watching superheroes and stuff. I can do the thing, you know, versus, you know, versus the main character of There Be Shadows, who is it's early 1900s. You know what I mean?
Oh,
He's
okay.
very, you
It's
know,
literally a different era.
literally, and you know they're in the UK. You know what I mean? It's a very different world for him than what you've seen from us
Interesting.
previously.
Okay.
So, you know, and it's very much he does get a friend in the beginning of the book. So which he's not an alone character. No, this is a good one. This is a
true friend.
I will not hoodwink you with this character. So he's a great character. I really enjoy old school storytelling and fables, and you know I love going back into history and looking at, you know, really old stories and stuff. And a lot of those stories come to play in There Be Shadows.
So it really is more of I don't want to say not necessarily well, if it's horrific then a horror story, but it's a gothic kind of
Very
style.
much so.
Gothic
Kind
of
architecture,
okay, cool.
You know, gothic, you know, it's very the story itself, the entire book, the entire first probably 2 years of the book is literally gonna take place in a home for boys.
Okay.
So it's going to be
that's horrific in its own way.
Yes.
Well, it's
especially back in that time frame.
Exactly. You know what I mean? You're in an orphanage. You're, you know, and eventually it'll turn into they'll be moved to another facility that's mixed gender and whatnot. But in the beginning, it'll be just, you know, these boys that are dealing with this, you know, horrendous experience that they're going through.
It's not a gothic Lord of the what is it? Lord of the Flies, is it?
You know, I loved that book as a kid. I absolutely loved that book, and you know, I think it's funny. A lot of stories as we age, right? As we grow, as writers, artists, as creators, anything. All of the stories have almost they have like a almost an anchor, right? They've got almost an anchor in your life, in places you've done, things you've seen, you know. And I think specifically that you guys will really enjoy this book because it's going to take you places that you remember from your youth.
Interesting.
And I'm proud of that because, like I said, Nate brought up, it is a horror story and it's quite horrific. But it's so different than any other book that we put out. Like it's a very like, I mean, and like I said, I always try to put different product out. I never try to give you guys the same type of storytelling. But this is outside. I'm going to say this outside of If It Hops. I think There Be Shadows is going to be a book that people know very well. You know, BGD is very popular, but I think that There Be Shadows is a book that's going to stand on its own, apart from anything else we do.
Yep. I love how you do create. There was always going to be some overlap. I mean, If It Hops and you know, BGD's the anthropomorphic and everything else, but different worlds. But you do create different worlds. You have us, you know, anthropomorphic dinosaurs. You have If It Hops. We have Underland. We have the twisted, you know, essentially Alice in Wonderland. Really twisted Alice in Wonderland. We have space. Now we're going to have a gothic horror story. It's, you know, it's really cool to have that variety. And
I think that we've got, by the end of this year, we should have 13 IPs running. I think that's what it is.
Last count I had was 12, but we might have 13.
So you've got your, you know, Cretaceous is coming out.
Yes.
And oh my gosh, we just had the interior artist so kind to share a cover on the actual group. If you remember the Facebook group, he actually just went in like yesterday or the day before and dropped the first cover on it. How fucking cool.
Pretty.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
The line work on that alone is just stunning. So then you've got that coming out. You've got My Metal Girl. The covers have been coming in for My Metal Girl. And can you believe that's like next month, right? Holy fuck. I'm so excited. I think, it's funny. Even like if you look at There Be Shadows, or even look right now, speaking of books we've got out, tonight's campaign. If you look at Kill Cam, I worked on Kill Cam a year and a half ago. Like, it's funny to me how time passes. Like, we've been working together with Ethereal now, some of us for almost 3 years. Even before we went to Ethereal when we were publishing for other people, it was still like some of us have been together that long working together, and it's a phenomenal thing to grow with individuals, so
our family.
Right.
Amen.
And the fan base, the fan base has been around forever now, and it's just been so cool. So cool to see. But I am going to say this, and I say it with all the pride in the world for everybody involved. I do think we get better every single book that comes out. Like, every single book that comes out. And to that,
I agree.
Sip a Mountain Dew because I got one today.
Oh,
There it is. I would
There it
agree. 'Cause
is.
like you said, it's all about growth. Your family is growing. Your brand is growing. The talent is growing.
Oh my
and
gosh.
and expanding, and it's just and we the fans reap the benefits because
Dude,
we get to be a part of that.
I joke about the fact that Ethereal is big boy indie. Like, I joke about it all the time because it's like Ethereal is a company where we don't know where we are anymore in this industry, because when you come into the indie scene, no one knows who the fuck you are, what the fuck you're doing, what is going on. And
It's a hot mess.
And there are cats that have been doing this for 10, 15 years and no one still knows who the fuck they are, But I'll turn around and April's like, hey, look, there's this banger that has been in this industry for 30 years. They want to work over with us. And I'm just like, ooh, you know what I mean? So like we did a show. It was me, Tom, Jim, and Dan Mendoza. And I don't remember where. I think we were in like fucking Michigan. But it was like, so we do this show. And we all put out the same types of stuff, generally speaking, except Jim's way more extreme than the rest of us. You know what I mean? He's way more extreme than the rest of us. And I'll tease him because I like storytelling in my books. But there's very
much story in Jim's books.
He's a good dude, though. He knows what he likes, and he knows what people like. So
it sells.
Hard to argue with that.
Absolutely. So anyway, we did this show, and I remember we were in this did you get peed on?
No, he fell.
Well,
Dog fell.
Do not throw the floof, it's rude.
So the floof slid.
We're like, it looks like a Muppet. It doesn't even look fucking real.
I know. It's like the Dark Crystal. It's crazy.
Jesus. So
yes,
destructive and evil this evening. I don't know what's in the water, but it's messed up.
Oh my gosh.
I had to go off camera for a minute to clean up because he had literally destroyed one of those puppy pads. So there was like wet gel everywhere. And I'm just like, you're so small. Why make such a big mess?
Well, that's how it works, right? That's how it works. The smaller they are, the messier they are, and louder they are.
Oh, whirling dervish.
Mike, it wasn't so cute. I just don't even know.
When you first brought him on, all I wanted to do was boop the nose. It's just
I know, and it's upticked, and it's just perfect.
Perfect. Exactly. It's the perfect boop nose.
So we're at this show, and it's in the Bible Belt, and which is fine. I don't mind being in the Bible Belt, whatever. But we're in the Bible Belt.
Bible Belt.
Dude, look here. Let me tell you, where they fucking stuck us. Where they stuck us, we were shunned when we first got there. Let me tell you.
Shunned.
So we get to the show, and they're like, well, we're going to put you guys outside. And Dan's like, the fuck you are.
Get shot.
But it's outside. It's about to rain, asshole. So next thing you know, we're all on the back wall in the middle of this fucking show instead of being outside. And it makes me laugh a lot because, like I said, when I don't know where we stand in the comic world anymore, because it used to be you used to be able to tell, right? You used to be able to be like, here we are, we're little dudes, nobody knows who the fuck we are, but now we're like trying to find our it's like we're looking for our seat at the big kids table. That's what
we're
we're
the
doing.
angsty teens.
That's it. We're looking for our spot at the table, and it's a very interesting conversation. Because whether people like to admit it or not, even if they don't know it was me or April or Bladen, they still know the works. You know what I mean? They know the product exists. You know, BGD, I've had people that I couldn't even imagine knowing what it was come up to me and talk about it. Same thing with If It Hops. You know what I mean? It's very, you know, certain characters are larger than life for us. You know, and that's because of you guys. You know, you guys talk about the books. The fans talk about the products. You know, we had a cat come to us at Suncoast one year and was like, "You're the dinosaur chick guy," and I was like, "I'll take that." You know, I mean, I'll run with that. You know, can you tell me how to draw dinosaur chicks? And I was like, "No, you got to reach out to Trevor for that, or Bladen, and he'll teach you how to draw dinosaur chicks." I'm not the guy, but I can tell you what's a good design. You know what I mean?
Learn how to throw a bad punch.
Yeah. Well, when you punch people a lot bigger than you at the time, it was, or they're running from you because they don't want to get
run from you when you have a taser.
No, that was not my life. That was not my life. No. It's not but no, there's something to be said about the fan bases, and they carry the business. They really do. You know, because you're selling yourself. We sell April, we sell Bladen, we sell, you know, everybody else on the team. That's who people are buying. You know, when you come to an ethereal booth, I have yet, you know, it's funny, with April sitting here, I have not done an ethereal show by myself. Not one. I've done shows for other brands by myself, but I have never done an ethereal show by myself. And I think that's a really interesting thing, because
you don't have time to do one by yourself.
Oh my God, I don't have time to do fucking anything, let alone do a show by myself. And there's so much product anymore. It would take me like hours by myself to set up a booth. You know, like when we went to Vegas, oh my God, I had two huge things of luggage filled with comic books. Like, and it 150 pound pieces.
Trying to help you lighten the load.
Yes. And that's a future endeavor, and I'm learning. So going forward, I'm going to make sure that April has plenty of load to carry and Bladen has plenty of load to carry, because that shit was ridiculous. Like, I think I probably paid $300 just for my luggage. Like, it was stupid. Yeah, it was stupid. Nice. And then they broke my stupid fucking luggage.
I remember you telling me, yep, you said
it. Bastards. Like, I had literally just bought it. It was brand new luggage. Mm-hmm. Like, I was like, man, I gotta spend, you know, X amount of dollars in a giant fucking luggage bag to put short boxes in. I was stacking 4 short boxes in these damn totes, right? And I guess they were throwing them. That's the only thing I can think of.
You don't treat luggage nicely.
No.
If you're lucky, they were throwing.
I'm going to ask the Shaners if they can tell me about people throwing luggage, because I'm fucking... That shit sucks. Look at you. I see what you've got, too. You don't give me no shit.
What?
I see what you've got there. Got that amazing dragon fruit over there, don't you?
No.
Uh-oh.
Don't poke the fucking tiger now.
Well, you were talking about
I recycle my cups.
Do what, Nate?
I recycle my cups.
Ah, gotcha. So what were you saying, Nate? We were talking about what?
you were talking about where do you fit per se.
Mhm.
It's the same question Valiant and Dark Horse asks every day.
For sure. Well, so that's another rabbit hole you can jump down all day long. That goes hand in hand with IDW. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so IDW was on top of the fucking world and could have stayed on top of the fucking world if they had been smart about what they were doing. You know what I mean?
Yep.
If you'd have kept Godzilla, if you'd have kept G.I. Joe, if you'd have kept Transformers, you would have stayed on top of the world. You'd never had a problem ever. You know, and I joke about stuff like that because I'm like, you know, if we did a campaign for 50, 60 grand, you know, do you know what I could do with 50, 60 grand? Do you see what I do with 15 to 20? You know, can you imagine like having that kind of power and just letting it just drift away? I would give an organ to write a Godzilla book and publish it. I know Tom would give an organ to write a Godzilla book and publish it. You know what I mean? There are some of us that would literally just, you know, fight the fucking power to put out certain IPs. You know?
When we saw how they just kind of let it drift and everything else, I think there was a lot of anguished people out there going, but
yeah.
And to me, I'm a huge Transformers fan. Always have been. And I'm a huge IDW fan. And when they collapsed and they said, you know, I've been collecting the IDW Transformers collection in hardcover.
Yep, the encyclopedia books. Yes,
since they started.
Yep.
And then to get this close to the end and say, oh, we're done.
Yep.
You know, they said, we're not going to finish it.
That particular book that he's talking about, April knows, I chased the Ninja Turtle 3 book for like 2 months. And I finally ended up getting one, and it was crazy how it happened because I didn't think I was going to get it. But I ordered one from Books A Million, and then they told me they couldn't get it to me. Like, I'd never get it. I got my money back. And then 6 months later, the book showed up at my house. It was the weirdest thing. But so, like, the IDW Transformers volume right now, the number 1 from Gen 1, is like $170 book right now.
Yep.
And it was such a low print run book. Anyway, I'm a big fan as well. So no, I was totally sad when we stopped seeing it. I was sad when we stopped seeing Godzilla. I'll say this though, Dark Horse has been putting out Godzilla along with Legendary. And that was cool. You know what I mean? But I just mean there are a lot of opportunities in this industry. If you don't think that I've put out feelers for IPs that nobody's touched, you're sorely mistaken. Because there's a couple of them that I would, you know, choke a chicken to get my hands on. So I
think back to Nate's too is, I mean, you're still trying to find your place, right? I mean, it's an ongoing battle. But I think, unfortunately, things like with IDW and everything else, how they did, those are cautionary tales. They did have it and everything else, and everybody else is still trying to do it. But it's like, it can be done. The trick, I think, is once you can get a niche, find a place, a little comfort, and then keep it up. That always seems to be the challenge.
Look at there's another one. There's another perfect example. I think Dark Horse and IDW will both stand the test of time strictly because the mouse. And that's something that, you know, they've got their Disney's got their hands in Dark Horse. Disney's got their hands in IDW.
Yep.
What
you know what I
Disney
mean?
have their hands in?
Everybody. Everybody. You know, but at least they lube it up for most people. But it's one of those things where, you know, if you're gonna do it, at least be polite about it.
Exactly. The mouse doesn't like it rough. That's fine.
You know, but there's a lot being said about the comic industry, and there's a lot going on with it. And knowing one's place is not something that you always will know. You know what I mean? Like, I love Murad. I think he's a great dude, and I think his stuff does really well. You know what I mean? And continues to do well. He's great at marketing. You know, and there's a lot to be said about that. You know, you look at your Merc magazines or anything else like that, but I don't see anybody else that's putting out a book a month, let alone 2 books a month. And that is something that
is insanity strictly for you.
Yeah. It's definitely insanity, but like I said, if the fans didn't believe in the products,
You wouldn't do it
for us. It would be hard for us to deal with the insanity. Because you see April smile.
Where to blame? I get it. I see where this
yeah. So you see April smile and you see her tease a lot, but it is she does a lot. You know what I mean? She is one of those people that is, thrives off situations. You know what I mean? And I do my best to thrive off them as well. I feed off the positive energy. I really do. There'll be days when I'm super, super down and somebody will be like, hey, Jude, can't wait to get this next book. And you're just like, you get excited about it. No, you're absolutely right, Russ. I agree. Mike has talked to me since I started, so I'm always grateful, for the conversations and stuff. But there's a lot to be gleaned from what you're seeing. I think that in comic books, you find your niche, right? I don't do porn. We do the red label stuff and it's fun, but we don't go out to write porn. It's not something we write. You know what I mean? If there's a sexual scene in a red label book, that's fine, but it's not because we're coming out to write pornography. You know what I mean? It's just, and there's nothing wrong with porn, mind you. There's certainly not. I'm a fan, but there's a concept where you have to find your spot, your niche. And when I say I don't know where we are, where we stand, it's not about where we are for ourselves or what kind of product we put out. It's where we are in the world,
industry. Yeah.
Like we're in.
Well, there's when you go to Comic-Con, they have it set up where you have your dealer booth, you've got your small press, and you've got your artist alley. And we're almost too big for Artist Alley anymore. Yep. So at that point, do we start looking at small press or do we start looking at the dealer booths?
Right.
And it's all about positioning.
Right, for sure.
It's a different kind of branding.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's but we know what kind of product we put out.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That's never a question. The stuff that we put out is unique to us. I strive to make sure we don't put out anything like anybody else. I constantly am picking people's brains, about product that we've put out and about stories that we've put out. And again, it comes to the culmination of things like with Kill Cam specifically. It was a year and a half in development before I got the testicular fortitude to say, hey, let's put out an issue of that book. You know what I mean? Or Cretaceous. Cretaceous was one where I got a wild hair up my ass and I sat down and wrote for 2 weeks straight. And I was like, this is fucking awesome. You know what I mean? Let's do this. This is going to be badass, versus There Be Shadows, where I locked myself in my office for 72 hours and knocked out an issue and came out and I was like, this is fucking incredible, or anything like that. It's like a concept of putting these books together and putting, it's practicing what you preach. It's putting the product out that people can enjoy. And I think that our fan bases have pushed us and drove us to putting out better content every single time we put out a product. From stickers to the pillows to the statues to the, whatever and what have you. You know what I mean? It's almost a challenge from the fans to continue to better yourself, and to continue to push yourselves. Because we could be like, yeah, we're going to put out 3 books a year and, whatever. But treading water doesn't suit me. I'm not a treading water person, If anything, I get to be the fucking shark that's sitting there. Yeah, I don't sit well, and
no,
I do. And if it wasn't for my wife, and April and Bladen, I probably wouldn't play very well either. I promise. They are very much a part of everything ethereal that you see. So if there's something good, know that they probably had their hands in it. You know what I mean? If I'm not saying they write all the stories or anything like that. They don't. They are definitely my backbone when I go out and I'm nervous or I worry about a book.
Keep you calm and keep you on track.
They
help
do.
keep you focused.
They're very much and Nate's the same way. Nate's getting to this point where he's very. I depend on his opinions. I depend on his thoughts.
Yeah.
And as we continue to grow, and Russ Cassidy and here talking, he's another one that I value his thoughts and his.
Russ is awesome.
Oh, he's a great dude.
Russ is the most underpaid person in the industry today.
Hardworking and underpaid.
And I try to take care of that man. I do try to take care of that man.
Yeah. Speaking of growth, just
because I know that he's one of the most underpaid individuals.
He is.
You're at $21.96.
So I do. I try to make sure he's taken care
of. $21.96. That's awesome.
Wow, badass. Hell yeah. And
I wanted to put out some campaign love
that.
there. So
it's when we start putting out new characters, it's always a nerve-wracking experience for me. Like April and Bladen are just like, yeah, it's another day in the park. I'm over here silently in my corner going, ah! You know what I mean? Like, what are they going to think? What are they going to feel? How are people going to receive them? And
it's your babies.
Oh man, but they all are. Like even my villains and stuff. I'm like, what are people going to think? Are they going to? Because when you're writing stories over a long period of time and you're not putting out books that you're going to end in a couple months or anything like that, you get attached to the characters. Like I'm attached to Dee and Dumb. Like I have no want to kill those characters off because there's so much potential to what they're doing. Even if they're henchmen later on, you know what I mean? Or they're knockaround guys. They're still characters that could have a great story given to them, Like I look at them like I look at Solomon Grundy, right? Like he's one of these characters that I always thought was so cool, but we didn't see enough of. You know what I mean? Like I always thought he was so neat, and so you'll get to see plenty of, these guys in the future. You'll get to see the White Rabbit plenty in the future, everybody asks about the Caterpillar. Trust me, you'll see him before long. People ask about, the Cheshire Cat. You'll see her before long. You know what I mean? I drop little tidbits every now and then, but you'll see.
Get in trouble.
He's a good one. You'll see a lot of new characters. You'll see a lot of faces that you would expect. There is a page in the Babes, Gore, and Dinosaurs book that if you're a collector or a fan of all things interesting that may never happen again, Bladen Hunter currently has a page of BGD with Agent C in it. So
really interesting.
Absolutely.
I want it.
He has a page.
Nate is claiming.
So whoever the first person that reaches out and asks for it, I think he's asking $200 for it. It's already inked. It's 11x17, full page, already done. So
wow. Okay.
It's absolutely beautiful. And if you've ever seen his artwork up close, you're definitely not getting cheaped out on $200. Let me tell you. And even though he knocks it out like crazy, it's stupid how fast he can put out.
His work is I have no words.
It's intense. So he does have the very first piece. Everybody's asked us for about a year and a half if there was ever a crossover in those two worlds. He has one. So, and I think it's like a fucking bowl of cereal that it has to deal with.
How funny. How
pretty
quaint.
Sure it does. Pretty sure.
How ironic.
Yep, but there's a lot more to that world, those two worlds, and why we've thrown them together. And you'll see that in the future. That's way down the line, though. But he does have a page featuring Agency that's inked.
Something to look forward to.
Man, oh man, man, oh man. When you actually see the crossover that we do for those books, it's stupid. It's so stupid. It's so great though. It's so different, and it's not what you expect. I promise. So it's going to be a ton of fun. We're moving forward in a great direction with Fallen Leaves with Gabriel and whatnot. I have issue 1 here at my house right now, and it did come today.
It's part of the whole freight.
Freight order is the biggest order we've ever had, and it was absolutely gorgeous. And like I said, I totally felt like a Ryan or a Dan for a moment. Like I was like, look at all them fucking books. But it was.
Now I have to do something with them.
Yeah, it was so cool. Well, I've got I'm not going to take that fucking camera down, but there's to my right are 30 short boxes all down a row here, and they're for each individual cover from that drop. So those will start going out here in the next 2 weeks. I got to get BGD3 out first, though. So get all the rest of BGD3 out.
Yeah, I know.
Yes, please.
Man, I'm so excited because it came out beautiful. BGD3 came out absolutely beautiful. The covers are insane. Oh my gosh. And I was going through it when it first came in. There's a shit ton of signed books behind me just drying right now. But it's such a interesting route for some of the characters that we've gone in. And I'm very excited to show it to you guys. We just did the campaign for issue 4. Pre-orders for issue 4 gone out. Serenity's breaking point is such an interesting story. The character's fucking off the wall. If you've been following her at all, I think she's died twice already in 3 issues. And for those of you that are like, what the fuck? Trust me, I'm not pulling a Marvel and killing a character and bringing her back. There's a reason.
No, there's purpose to it.
So make sure you pick it up, check her out. Actually, you'll be able to, here in the next 3 months or so, be able to order the trade paperback from me specifically for issues 1 through 4. It's going to be awesome. It really is going to be awesome. The Greed trade paperback is going to be available before long too. Super excited about that. So that'll be our third one. That'll be our, third trade paperback. So we've got the Listener, we've got BGD, and we've got Greed. Next will be If It Hops. That's going to be a fun one. And speaking of If It Hops, I mean, I know April's having a good time. When she's serious,
I was just going to ask if you could show us a little more of that.
When she's serious, she's not talking. She's like dead into it.
She's dead into it.
Well, you're
focused.
like actually, doing work, and I don't want to get you off your tangent.
Yeah, don't let me harangue for too long. I gotta breathe.
like me interrupting is gonna help that.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I think I've got pages 4 and 5 penciled. So we'll just hope that I've interpreted it to the liking. Ow! I pinched my finger. But you get to bust in the door. You get evil bad guy, like, yo, I'm gonna make some business. All these fucking guys. And then they're like, oh shit, we gotta go. More, dudes coming in. I've got hiding under the or behind the sofa so they don't get caught. I thought this was a cool panel. Like, I don't know. I mean, you guys be the judge. This is what I was working with. And it was like, well, I don't know. I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, it looks really good, dude. Like,
yeah.
It's sometimes when so like
Look at those bunny toes. Oh,
Yeah.
they're so cute. Even though he's a dude.
Yeah, it's a very, when we start looking at things like from a perspective of another artist, right? This is the first time either of them have done anything like this. So it's literally like trying to interpret Braille, like if you don't, you know what I mean?
I've got your
It's doing a comic through interpretive dance.
I've got like 2 sentences to describe a double page spread. So
Yeah, but that's because it's normally it's that book is normally done with us, Bladen and I, that normally work together like peas and carrots on this book. You know what I mean? So,
right. The comment was that I need to work on my facial expressions, and I'm like, yes, I will do that.
Yours or the books?
Or the characters, exactly. Whose face?
No, I don't know what
whose face are we talking about?
Like, other than being absolutely like scared out of your mind, I really don't know like what they're feeling, because 2 sentences. But could you imagine you like rack your toes across a coffee table while you're in the dark running from bad guys? I can only imagine the amount of facial expressions that I'd be giving.
is that what you were told?
You told me that I need to work on my facial expressions. I don't know.
Like the faces themselves. I didn't mean like, because you'd never done those before. It was weird. I was just trying to help. I wasn't
here,
like,
folks, we have the inner workings of how the creative process happens.
Yeah, I'm just trying to help.
You know what? I'm just gonna camouflage it. It'll be fine.
Yeah, just camouflage on the characters. Everybody's camouflaged.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
I do have a question.
You get some camo. You get some camo. You all get some camo.
Everybody
shoot,
get some
shoot
camo.
your question there, Big Nate.
Shiny, did you read If It Hops 2 yet?
I have not.
Oh, we're going to take your
I'm very behind on my reading. So
I did read it. And so I can actually spoil it because Dustin sent it to everybody already.
Yeah, it's already out there. So you're welcome
it's out there.
to talk about it.
So
feel free to spoil, because it's not your fault that
yeah, it's out there.
Go for it.
Exactly.
And it will not take away my enjoyment. Trust me.
Exactly. So I was going to ask is, should that hyena still have an ear?
Ooh.
On April's drawing?
Well, he's gonna fix whatever I got wrong. I'm not worried about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
no. So April is not in the look. We don't. Again, this is the first time either of them has done anything like this. And when you go it's like working any other job, right? If you work with yourself for so long, it's just you that's been doing this. When you go to give it to someone else to do it, you almost have them, you expect them to know exactly what you're trying to interpret, versus.
I actually saw that he was missing an ear, and I'll erase.
I'm going to go there and say that's not that character, so let's not worry about the ear.
That's where I was going.
I don't know. I'm just getting like the bare bones of what I heard
But
down.
that's what I was trying to say. She's helping him with when we lost an artist that was coming on to do the book.
Right.
And instead of us just rolling over and crying about it or changing the project dates, everyone had done such amazing work already and was preparing for this that April and Bladen had this great idea that they would work in tandem to get the book out together. And I seriously thought it was the most beautiful show and display of teamwork that I could have ever imagined, for 2 individuals that have never worked together to be like, hey, we as a team for the business, this is what we need to do. And it moved me to no end. Like, I was just like, well, fuck, that's incredible. So yes, I'm incredibly grateful that the 2 of them have stepped up and are having such a good time together. And I love that it's this book in particular, because April loves her some toe beans.
I do.
So
I really do.
I love that this is, one of the books that she would have preferred to work on. If it had to be one of them, this would be the one that she was, wanting to get in on. And I love that. Because I love her artwork. I think it's amazing. And I feel like if you get to work on a project you enjoy, you put a little bit more into it. You know what I mean? You throw a little bit extra spice in there because you enjoy it, and you're proud of it, So, like, oh my gosh, it's just a beautiful thing. It really is a beautiful thing because when we started working together, April was like, oh, I got to do an agency cover, or I got to do an agency art print. And it was just like, you could see that she as a person legitimately wasn't just like, I just need to get another cover out. I really want to draw that character. And that was super fun to me. So when it comes to doing Decken, a male rabbit, because in issue 2, you actually get to see a hair.
Mm-hmm.
We'd not done a hair before. You get to see a hair in issue 2. So it was like to do, C's brother, such an integral character. It was really, really cool to know that she would have her hands on that character for the first time he was ever seen. I just thought it was a lot of fun.
It was, and I wasn't criticizing April. I was asking in the reason why, because I thought it was a different character.
Yeah.
Because in the issue 2, you don't see if the brother dies or not. You don't see that piece of where, like Tron, he's being attacked, and then you see Agent C get knocked out.
That was a fun panel, a couple pages to work on. The deal with the badge being stuck in her ear, pinning her to the ground, was a really I thought it was a nice send-off almost for the character, to be honest with you. Just because, and you wonder, right? You leave the door open. We have not closed the door. I could decide that character's dead forever and we'll never use him again. And it would not affect you guys because for all intents and purposes, we've killed him off anyway. You know what I mean? So if we bring him back, it's fun. But as well as it could be, you don't want to bring somebody back soon if you bring a character back from perceived death, because it could be cheap. Now you've cheapened the event, or, you don't want to take away a moment from a fan. They may have, to be fair, he was only in one issue. I mean, it's not like you guys were tied to that particular hair, but we throw in a little bit of backstory. We build a little bit for you with the character, and he's in almost the entire issue. You know what I mean? So in all honesty, you've got almost more of him than you've gotten C in the book. But C, I think C is starting to stand up on her own 2 feet, and be a little bit more aggressive toward the situation. So I think that was fun to show in issue 2. But go ahead, Nate. I'm not trying to cut you off. I was just feeding off of what you were.
Oh, no. And you actually see in the book that it was somebody within the police force that let them out.
Yeah.
And they show it. And it's not Big Bad Panda.
No, it's not Big Bad Panda.
So it's going to be interesting to see who that actual character is. Because y'all did a good job keeping them in the shadows. Because I was picking through issue 1 again, trying to see if there's anybody that looks like that guy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, anybody there? Yeah. So we'll have to wait a little bit.
There's a lot going on. If you compare issue 1 to issue 2, there are a lot of nuances that we use for to show you what we're doing. I almost tried to give myself away in issue 2. Like, I really, if you pay attention to like the finer details in the issue, I almost tried to give you the answer to the questions and the reasonings and stuff like that. So we're actually, when you get into issue 3, we're moving away from the more of the mystery and moving more into the actuality of what's occurring. like what you just saw, the pages that April's working on, they're very early. Like that's early as shit in the book. That's like page 2, 3, 4. You know, it's issue 3, as much as issue 2 was a buildup from the beginning to the end. Issue 3 is the exact opposite. Issue 3 starts real hard and then leads into the storytelling as you go through it. You know, you'll find that everything you thought may not be the case once you hit issue 3. And I think that's a lot of fun. I love layered storytelling. Like I absolutely love layered storytelling. And I don't like boring. I mean, I really don't like fucking boring. So it's like, if you can figure out what's happening in my book, like before I want you to, I have failed. Like I have failed. And I say that coming from the perspective of someone that's been reading and writing since they were like 10 years old. You know, it's something I take a lot of pride in. If you can figure out what the deal with the character is with the jackal in issue 2 before I tell you, I've really fucked up, because there's so much to be seen in the world of Vivid Hops. There really is so much to be seen. And we're starting to get into the spiritual realm a little bit with, you know, the rider stuff with Ryoshi. And you know, I loved that last page. How about that last page?
Oh, dude, it was crazy because the last, you know, the additional pages that's in the book is actually a reference, is all the way in the back past, you know, and it shows how Ryder actually gets to become a witch, you know, and it shows, you know, the entity that pretty much says, "Hey, come here, I help you, you help me." You know,
it's like, "Hey, little girl, I've got candy." Almost.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And she falls for it.
It's very intimidating. It's a very intimidating page.
Hey, little girl, I've got Starbucks over.
Oh God!
Get in my Starbucks van. Yeah, basically.
We never see April again.
Yeah, that's what it's like. I mean, writing Ryoshi's story is something that I take a lot of pride in. Because as strong as Agent C's story is, Ryoshi's story is so few pages. Like it's so few pages that we literally have to give you a minute spoonful, but tell you an incredible story in 6 pages. You know what I mean? Like it's very interesting and exciting and challenging at the same time to make it so you guys are entertained in that few short pages, because it's not like we're giving you C's story in those pages. It's just like what we do with, and well, going forward, it'll be an extension of the main book, because in issue 3, Ryoshi is in Eden, so you guys will actually get to see her in the main book and not in the additional pages, and how she gets there and all that jazz is in issue 3. But you know, like, I love the additional pages. They're so much fun for me. Like the Stitches stuff is from BGD is I am so elbows deep in that stuff. Like I absolutely love it. I didn't think when I first started this about the Stitches stuff that I would find it so entertaining. Like I had no clue how awesome it would be. You know, I don't ever write from the perspective of the bad guy very often. So writing the Stitches stories has been so cool. And if you pick up the BGD trade paperback, instead of being at the end of each individual book in the trade paperback, the Stitches book it'll have its own book in the back, which will have all the additional pages put together so you can read them consecutively versus picking them out of the BGD issues. So I'm pretty thrilled with that. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I want to do a separate review just on Stitches once it comes.
Well, he's got his own 3-story mini arc coming out next year. So I'm really, or 3-book, mini arc coming out next year. So that'll be a lot of fun. And that'll actually be from his perspective but in the normal BGD books. So you'll have all the BGD characters, but they'll be revolving around his story. So I'm pretty hyped about that.
He's crazy. He is complete batshit crazy too.
Oh, he is batshit crazy, but he's in love.
He does. He loves his wife.
That's it, and that's all that matters to him. So he's doing no wrong.
Kind of batshit crazy,
right? And that's what makes it so believable, because he's so in love with his wife that he is literally doing these outrageous things just to make her happy. Because she's a shut-in. She won't leave. So she's literally in this position where she's going crazy. And he's like, well, the only way I can save her is to do what she's asked. And he's actually become a zealot in trying to resolve her problem. And it's a really interesting concept to me. But oh man, there's some cool stuff going on. Like, some cool stuff. It just makes me just get the shakes and shit.
That's probably the Mountain Dew.
Mm-hmm.
Probably is. It's been a while.
Well, I don't drink but like one a month, so it's one of those things where I don't have sugar problems, ladies and gentlemen. I could have it if I wanted to, but I just don't drink a lot of soda just because I don't like the way it tastes. Generally speaking, I'm not a caffeine person, but I like the way Mountain Dew tastes. So every now and then I'll have one. But I'm not a caffeine guy because I used to get headaches as a kid. And I just was to this point where I was like, I don't need headaches for something that makes my fucking throat burn when I drink it. Thank you. So anyway, like I said, we got some beautiful stuff from, the Cretaceous team. Looks great. If you get on the Facebook group, you guys can see that. I do believe we've got a couple pages on here. Chris Mad said he liked drawing the toe beans. He has an incredible cover coming out for If It Hops.
Oh yeah.
I love it. I got to see that one. I was excited about it.
Oh.
Well, it's always interesting to see people's interpretations of the characters, especially C. I don't know. I'm very judgmental with people that draw C. I'm very protective of that character. Like, I don't want her drawn just by anybody. You know what I mean? Anyway, so we got some beautiful stuff going for, Cretaceous. I'm really excited about it. I'm really, really excited about it because it reminds me a lot of, Hellboy, and, it reminds me of that dark, moody, ink work. So I'm excited to see what people think about it. Oh my gosh. And we started getting fucking My Metal Girl pages and shit. I'm just like, oh my god. Fuck. I don't. I get excited about every book. I really do. But every now and then I'll fixate on a project we're working on. And My Metal Girl has been something that I've been working on for a while. And to start seeing it come to life is something that I'm very, very excited about. And I'll say this as a guy that puts out batshit covers every month. They're batshit fucking crazy. All of them. Every one of them that I've seen so far. Fucking nuts. I saw the Massies earlier and I was just like, Jesus H. Christ, Batman. It's just, they're great. They're really, really good. And like I said, we're more and more inks. BGD4 is all done. It's being colored now. I just have to do the Stitches story for it.
That Maya in the middle looks just like Vasquez from freaking Aliens.
Yep.
Well, to be fair, this was a tribute to Aliens.
Oh yeah.
Well, there you go.
I'm a big fan. I own every comic. I own every figure. I own probably way too much alien shit that I should have. Probably way too much. Way too many props and shit. All the things. All the novels. All the things. just because I've been a huge fan my whole life. I remember one of my earliest memories is back when you could call the radio station when you had home phones, kids. We had home
Landlines.
phones back then.
Oh yeah.
Landlines.
And you could call your radio station because they would do movie tickets and stuff you could win.
Mm-hmm.
So
We caller 5 know the answer.
oh my gosh, I don't remember how old I was, but I called in and won tickets for Alien Resurrection. And my mom, she had to take me. I couldn't go because, whatever. So I had to get my mom to pick up the tickets and go to the movie theater with me. And it was just her and I. And, she knew I loved the movies and stuff. And, she was a big horror movie buff and stuff, still is. And I take that back. No, she's not. She's terrified of horror movies nowadays that she's gotten older. But anyway, so we're in there and they're like, hey, we're going to do a competition. Like I said, one of my earliest memories. We're going to do a competition. Whoever can put this shirt on and take it off the fastest can keep it. And all of a sudden, my mom was like, I can do that. And I was like, what?
Who are you?
Yeah.
Where's my mom?
And right. But, over top of your shirt that you're wearing already.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So she gets down there and she wins me this fucking purple Alien Resurrection shirt with the Betty, which is the ship from the film. The pinup from the Betty on the sleeve. And it had the 8 on the wrist because the Ripley's clone number 8. And I'll never forget. I was so excited. I wore it to school, right? Alien Resurrection across the back of the shirt and shit. And we were in Jacksonville and we were at the aquarium and I was sitting next to the river and a bird shit on me.
Oh.
I was like in 4th grade. I was so angry. Like so angry. A brand new shirt. I only had it for like a day. And like I literally had to take it to school the next day because it was amazing. My mom had got it for me. And but yeah, no, I'm a huge fan. So when I decided to do something in the vein of Aliens, it had to be right. Like it had to look good. It had to be just like I wanted it to be. And so, yes. So you've got your, Ricky is your main dude running the shit. Then you've got your, Maya looking like Vasquez and whatnot. And trivia for you guys. Do you know it was a white chick? It wasn't even a Hispanic chick.
Yeah.
Anyway, also played the mom in Terminator 2. But I don't want to get sidetracked with all that. But it's the same director for these movies, so they're definitely using a bunch of the same folks. Anyway, so when we started putting it together, I was like, well, we can't do aliens. And Bladen was like, well, what are you going to do? And I was like, we're going to do big fucking cavemen. Like gnarly ass cavemen. So what you're seeing is people that tried to use the Saurian mutations, like stealing the actual technology to do what is done by the government naturally, trying to do it themselves. And they've become this just fucked up group. It's like a sect. And some of them come out and they're really intelligent, and you'll get to see them much, much, much later in the series. But most of them lose their minds. And they group together and they live together outside of the Saurian living spaces and stuff. So they'll send these teams of mercenaries out to effectively wipe out these cave people, right? But the thing is, the cave people are bigger than the Saurians. They're these huge, massive, like hulking brutes. So, and yes, you do get to see one female at the end of the issue.
That poor female.
She's super gnarly. She's super gnarly. Yeah, poor her. Ugh, gross. But she's super gnarly. But so you get these characters that are essentially, 7.5, 8 foot tall, like a Saurian are. Saurians are 6'8" to 7.5 foot tall. And these guys are just super muscular and just ridiculously strong and hairy and smelly. You know what I mean? And they just tear right through the Saurians. So it's a very cool thing. We had a lot of fun with it, actually creating, panels like this one, not this one, hold on. This one here, like you mentioned earlier, it's just a ton of fun watching these characters. And I know that Bladen spent so much time on the inks for these pages. Like, there are a couple of them that are just like ridiculous, and going forward, you'll be able to pick them up at shows and you'll be able to pick them up on the website and stuff like that. I know Russ is going to start getting into the hold on, that's for Underland. He's going to start getting into building out the website even further, because I suck at the website. It hates me to fucking no end. And it's easy. Like, it's an easy to build out website. It's a Wix website. I don't have any issues with it. We just don't get along. I don't know what the fuck it is about that website. But it's like, oh, $500 a year. The website's super easy to put together. And I'm like, yeah, ha, ha. It's not about how easy it is to put together, just the time it takes to put it the fuck together. So when we put out new books, you'll be able to go in. Like, right now, you can pick up issues 1 through 2 of BGD on there. And digitals. One of the coolest things about the website is the digitals. $4.99, you can snag a book. I mean, it immediately goes to you. There's no have to have it mailed. There's no nothing. It immediately, goes right to you. And it's automatic. I don't have to fuck with it at all. So it's super, super great. What is he talking about? Hey, hold on. Y'all hang out for a second. I got to figure out what Gwen is free.
Oh, Gwen.
Yeah, she sent him something. She said check in, so yeah.
Check your MP.
Mm-hmm. I have to laugh because, of course, it won't be a long show.
I know, right?
Uh-huh.
He must be feeling good, and that's
I know.
nice.
He got his second and third wind, I think so.
I think so.
Yep.
It's been a weird week.
Has it?
Like, all together. Well, I don't know why, but like I was feeling it for sure. Like, there was just a lot that I was trying to manage, and I was just kind of feeling like I wasn't managing very well. And now that I'm starting to get my bearings back, I can actually draw. It is because I wasn't drawing. That's what it was. I was doing all the administrative stuff and I wasn't actually drawing. And now I'm drawing and I'm like, everything feels so clear now. And it's so bizarre how
you got your zone back.
Yeah. Well, it just kind of puts everything into perspective, and I don't know why, but I don't suppose you're watching Yellowstone. Are you?
No.
Nope.
So, like, the whole cowboy kind of thing. Well, I got something to think about. I need to go on a walk or a ride and just kind of like contemplate all of the scenarios and figure out which direction I'm gonna go, kind of thing. And that's kind of how I feel with drawing. I will have full on conversations with myself, or my brain will just somebody asked for a crocodile mermaid. I'm like, yeah, okay. And that's what I'm drawing right now. It's like, to think about it, I'm like, yeah, I no reason why I can't, but what am I going to do? Or how am I going to make that work? Or, whatever. And all of a sudden things start to click into place. Like, what would that look like? How would they swim? Would they have real hair? Like all these little things. Like, I don't know, so I haven't done it yet. But I kind of start working it all out in pieces until it's finally done. It's like my brain just will eventually catch up with what my hand and my muscle memory want it to do. So it's really strange. I work a little different. I don't know if anybody else does the similar thing, but
I know.
I consider it like the same as writing watermelon just to get something down on the page.
I know I do the same thing at work because I work in an office 3 days out of the week.
Nice.
And so it's constantly, it's like I'm in a meeting all day. So changing the mindset of, working, being in a meeting to I just say, okay, I'm going to go walk around, go talk to real people, not, through a computer or, or nothing like that. I'll go see real people and you kind of feel rejuvenated, kind of like, hey, you see people, you do stuff, you do something different, it helps out. Because I would assume, correct me if I'm wrong, April, it was a big change to being just an artist to being the artist and now like a manager, pretty much a ethereal. So, it's because that's going to take a lot of your time up because I've been a project manager, that's one of my jobs. I do is project management. And so when you're managing people and money and resources and doing those kind of things, that takes a lot of time out of things that you really want to do versus what you have to do.
Yeah. Yep, it's true. It definitely a shift in responsibility and how much time I can give our artists to work on stuff. If I give them too much time, then they forget. That was a real awkward conversation. So, oh, just my heart. Anyway, but there are so many amazing projects that we put out and everybody wants to be a part of them. And that's so great. But we also want to set people up for, success. So just because they like the premise of the book doesn't mean that they're overly successful in drawing dinosaurs or boys. So trying to remember what people's strengths are. We want to make sure that we give everybody the opportunity to grow with us. So if there's something that somebody actually wants to experiment and try, I don't want to be a naysayer and be like, oh no, we can't do that. I really do want to give them ample opportunities to explore, something else. I've never worked with somebody, who would ink over my stuff. I've always had to ink my own. So I draw really light. And so here Bladen's all like, hey, why does your pencils look so bad? I'm like, well, I usually ink my own. So, I'll try to draw darker. Like, I don't know. I've just never done this before because I'm not a penciler. I just freelance, right? So you never know what you're capable of doing until you try. And so me just being the open book that I am, I'm like, I'm going to give this a shot and, let me know what I can do better as I go through these pages. And hopefully it'll be a seamless, well, maybe not completely seamless transition from book 2 to book 3, but maybe it won't be a horrible jolt into a totally different art style, So
I'm happy that you're doing the book because I don't get to see you do interiors that much. A lot of times.
Yeah,
I was
don't.
I agree.
Yeah, this is gonna be fun. I'm like wicked excited.
She says with a nervous chuckle.
Well, no, I don't want to set anybody up for like, well, I don't know why they didn't ask me kind of thing. Like it happened so fast, and honestly, I didn't expect Bladen to be like, yeah, this was like a great idea. I was like,
oh, okay.
Yeah. I was just trying to be a team player, but but
and then you have your other outside projects too that you're also adding in. So that's
outside projects.
Okay, your other project.
Yeah, no. I've got, I think, like 2 or 3 Squee After Dark covers to do, but I don't have the If It Hops crossover books yet in my possession, so I'm kind of stalling just a little bit. I don't mean to, but I just don't have all of the pieces yet. So I don't know. I go through like moments of clarity. And then I'm like, well, I can't send all of this out yet because I don't have the last bit of my subject matter yet. And so I don't know. I'm at like 92% fulfillment already for Squee After Dark. And then it won't take but like a solid weekend and I can get everything 100%.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I like drawing boobies.
See, that's what I can't
No.
wait
I
to
like
see.
when you draw boobies. I'm a fan.
I don't know. Like,
We're a big fan of you drawing boobies.
excellent. This works out so good.
See?
So yeah, like I'm not stressing it too much. I am nervous about the If It Hops pages only because I don't do interiors as frequently as I would like to. But with any luck, as soon as I get the If It Hops pages completed, I can just mull back over and finish up these Neon Streets because I've only got 4 pages left of that story. I started that like a year ago. But I'm also like self-inking too. So like, yeah. They're like, wow, these faces are really symmetrical, like versus what happened a year ago. I'll be like, oh yeah, it's fine.
It's fine.
We'll just skew it in Photoshop so it matches. I'd be like, no, don't do that.
It's all fine.
Yeah, it is. Like maybe the color will still fix it.
Now you
No,
sound like Steph Wilson.
right? I
Yeah,
would,
yeah.
you know.
Oh yeah, Carrie Ann's
Right?
got it.
Exactly. Oh, whoops! Carrie will fix it.
Yeah,
Okay, Steph.
yeah. Carrie's so awesome. I love her.
I love her.
Carrie is
I know.
awesome. Carrie's
Awesome.
absolutely phenomenal. You know,
That
it's
was the best part was going to the Boston comic book convention and hanging with Wendy and Steph and well shoot, Jim Noble was there too. We all had a blast. I swear. It was, I don't know. It was amazing. I miss everybody. We're kind of doing the whole like brand build out and getting all these new book titles in production, and it's smart to take time to do it and do it well. And so with any luck, next year we'll be out in full force, and I'm really excited about that.
I can't wait.
I think
to
a lot
meet
of us
y'all in
are as well.
person.
Yep.
Right?
it's funny talking about being out in full force. It's we're already getting invited to shows for next year. It was really, really cool that people understood that we wouldn't be doing shows this year. You know what I mean? Like it's just been, we announced it early. We only had to cancel like 2 shows. But we're really grateful everybody understood what we were trying to do and what we're trying to create. Because there's, as you build something this large, it literally becomes all encompassing. Like there is, if we're not working 10 hours a day, it's unusual. There's always something that's going on, whether it's an edit for a book or an email to a team member or, a fuck up that I've made that I've got to fix, you know what I mean? Or, something. I always have something going on, and Bladen has his day job plus contract work that he does, plus the work for Ethereal, you know what I mean? And April has all the beautiful work she does, and holy cow, 2 daughters. And if you don't have any daughters, let me tell you something, it is a full-time job in itself. Nate's got like, what do you got, like 5? You've got 5 kids, right?
Oh,
yeah.
Cool. Wow.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to make it. Like I would.
Hats off to you, sir.
I just wouldn't, I wouldn't be able to handle it. It's great, and children are beautiful. I just don't know that I physically would be able to keep up with that many. You know what I mean?
They keep me in shape, I'll tell you that.
I can only imagine. I mean, and yours are all different ages and stuff, though, right? They're not all like in the same realm, right?
They're pretty close. 10, 7, 6, 4, and 1 has her birthday tomorrow to turn 1.
Yeah. See, so
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tauruses.
yeah, they're all pretty close together. So, it's one of those things where it's like, now if one of them's in dance, you're flying around to the dance recitals. If one of them's in chorus, you're flying around to the chorus recitals, or if they're cheerleaders or whatever. So it is a full-time job being a parent.
Amen.
And it's also a very amazing job as well. You know what I mean? Being able to see your children grow and stuff. Now, my daughter grew up in comic books. She's 12 now. She grew up like literally in comic books. And so, though, before we started publishing, the comic books she got to see were superhero books and stuff. You know what I mean? And with the worst thing that ever came across her vision at some point would have been an image book, or a normal cover A from Zenoscope or something. Now I do our books in the kitchen sometimes. I do our books in my living room. Wherever I happen to be. But we teach art in this household.
Mhm.
So again, we don't do pornography for anybody that's watching. We don't. So if you're into art, there are plenty of nudes around this house that are tasteful, and my daughter was brought up being raised that women are the most beautiful thing in the world, because that's what I believe, so and they should be respected and treated as such. Take it easy, Chris. Be good, man.
Have a good night, Chris.
So she grew up with that. She grew up, knowing what a female body was, knowing she had one, knowing she was pretty, knowing that she was powerful. You know what I mean? So seeing a naked dinosaur chick on a cover on my kitchen table, it doesn't surprise her. Now the 4-year-old, if there's one of those,
Daddy.
yeah. Well, he speaks very, very well. He's very, 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 his conversation skills are great. Like, he'll be like, Dad, why are there dinosaur boobs on the kitchen table? And I'm just like, this is work. Relax.
Aren't they reptiles, and like they don't have boobs? Because
He does it in dude bro talk. You know what I mean? So well, that's because that's just the way my dad and I talk. So he's around his grandfather, he's around me, so he's he's got the lingo down. My dad started teaching me to surf at 10 years old, and I did it till I was 26, 27. I was always near the water, and my son just happens to soak up language and stuff. So that and dick punching capabilities, he's all of that. If he could, if there was the sport for that kid would be something terrifying, I promise. Like,
well, he already is.
Well, he's a pro at it, and it is terrifying, but
it hurts like hell too.
It's he's wild. But anyway, been on here for 2 hours and 45 minutes almost tonight, guys. I said I was only going to do an hour, but I always have so much fun talking to you guys. Like, you guys are like the highlight of the work week. You know what I mean? So we have such a good time, and I'm going to have good buddy Nate's stuff edited for him so he can put it out within this weekend. And it looks so good. It was so well written and fun. It was a fun read. And I hope you guys enjoy it as much as I did. And then I'm sure he'll be doing more and more of those. So you guys will be able to, pick up on those and see what you think. Plenty of toe beans in your future, I promise. There's all kinds of good stuff. So If you need anything at all from me, guys, make sure you holler. You know where to find us. Shawnee, it's always such a pleasure. It really is such a pleasure to have you all the time.
I had a lot of fun.
If there was ever a Mama Bear fan like group leader, it would be Shawnee. She would be. She keeps us all in check. Me, Tom, it doesn't fucking matter. Shawnee keeps us all in check.
And yet you keep inviting me back, so I must be doing something right.
Doing good.
That's how I feel.
Right. Well, anyway, if you guys will hang tight with me for a minute, after we get off here, I'll lead you into some wild intel. Anyway, thanks again, guys, for hanging out with us. It's always such a pleasure. I hope you had fun listening to people tease me and poke at me and all kinds of other things. But anyway, we'll see you next week. Thanks for checking out the Kickstarter. Make sure you give it a peek, and we'll be talking about it in the group and stuff probably for the next 3 weeks. Thanks so very much. We're incredibly grateful for your time because that's something you can't get back. So thank you. Thank you very much for hanging out with us tonight. And I hope you have an incredible weekend, and we'll talk to you shortly.
Night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.